in a world crying out for a top 10 show. John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Top 10 Show. I am John Rocha.
I am Matt Knost.
Ooh, and today we are counting down an interesting list, top 10 worst superhero movies, and by popular demand, we have brought on, as our guest for this, someone who people have been clamoring for quite some time to return to the Top 10 Show. Maybe one of our longest episodes that we've ever done, Matt, yet one of the most downloaded.
It's in the discussion. That and Rachel, I think, were our two.
Right.
I don't know which is longer. I think Rachel, we ended up doing like 3 minutes more.
Yeah, just a little bit. 3 minutes more.
I figured.
And to be fair, we were talking about more like epic movies. So it was longer because there's so much more to talk about.
Perhaps. I think we're all just three very verbose individuals.
That's fair. I accept that.
I also know, the most requested, I think, repeat booking.
Yeah.
I would say that. Amongst Twitter, Facebook, whatnot, you got to have Andreyko back.
Yep. Yeah, comic book writer, schmodown competitor, the android, and a man I think both of us are proud to call friend, Marc Andreyko. Welcome back to the show, bud.
Wow. I feel like you guys are like hype man. I feel like Vin Diesel on a movie set having you guys come before me and say all sorts of stuff.
Does he have that?
Does that have? Ooh.
That's what I've heard. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why his advanced PR is so good that we've all bought it.
And this is why you have Andreyko on the show. Already off the bat, little tidbit behind the scenes stuff going on with one of these famous actors.
I'm
I
glad
love
to be
it.
back, guys. I've wanted to do it probably more than the fans have wanted because it was so much fun. Just because our lists were, that's why it was so long.
Yeah.
Our lists were entirely different.
Yeah.
True.
And just to be clear for the people who might go back and listen to that, I wasn't being contrarian. I stand by my list.
Yeah, you do.
I wasn't just trying to be a rabble rouser with that list.
I think that's why people loved it. I think for the most part, people felt it was an authentic list, and they liked that it caused some serious discussion and debate.
It did.
Amongst us,
That's what
which
lists
was
should be.
fun.
You don't have to agree. If you can talk and figure out things,
Yeah.
it's always find the different flavors in these things.
There were several people that said, "Oh, I've never thought about that movie from that perspective," or distilling it down to a specific scene with what you submitted, like in the Andrew Garfield and Sally Field. Was that between the two of them?
Oh, yeah.
That moment in
the
the
end.
second one,
Yeah.
the Amazing Spider-Man, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like, the fact that you give that illumination to and make someone reappreciate.
Now we get to be mean.
We do. These are much rare. I always enjoy these shows.
Yeah, these are
just
a lot of
shit on
fun.
something. Just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is going on here?
And why are we doing this one again? Why are we doing top 10 worst superhero movies? Is it Brightburn or is it another
No, that
thing?
was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago. So what is it this time?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. I know it's a movie coming up that we got coming
There's
out.
there's a superhero movie coming out at some point in the very near future.
Yeah.
and
So
we're
we
doing
thought
this
we'd do this show for it.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's summertime.
It can't be Spider-Man. That's for goddamn
It'll be
sure.
a palate cleanser because if you hear about all these crappy movies, whatever you see next will feel better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, it's like saying this is going to taste awful, and you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
What's that in When Harry Met Sally? Will you taste this? No. Anyway, so today, you know how this goes down, and we're going to talk about these movies. And any news we need to talk about before we start, Matt?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We are right now. If you guys want to, if any moment from a specific show sparks to mind, then we are taking basically that as ideas for T-shirts coming up.
Right.
So just let us know on Facebook or on Twitter or top10podcast@gmail, all spelled out.
Yeah.
And just submit your ideas. We'll weed through them, see what we come up with.
Yep.
But we found a good solution for that graphic design problem.
I think we have, yeah.
After a lot of help from fans out there, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. And here's the movie why we're doing this, Dark Phoenix. That's why we're doing this list, because everyone anticipates that movie's going to be pretty terrible. So we thought we might get added to the consideration of our list. Yeah,
It looks it. It does not look good right now.
I don't think I've ever recalled a lame duck superhero film. This is essentially a lame duck soup because nothing that happens in here is going to fucking matter once the MCU starts doing their X-Men.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it's gonna be a while before we see the X-Men. So
Right.
I think Kevin Feige didn't get to where he was by being impulsive, and they need to, especially if this movie's bad.
Yeah.
If this movie's good or bad, if this movie's super successful or a super failure, it makes the product radioactive for a while.
Yep.
Because you need to distance it. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll see them probably in 5 or 6 years.
Do you think anybody crosses over, or they start over from scratch completely?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't come over.
No,
you wouldn't
I
take
would
anybody.
Get rid of them all.
Really?
Yeah.
Even McAvoy and Fassbender.
Yeah, those are the
You
two
have-
best.
You have to. You have to because the way fandom works now, the moment you bring one playing the same role, Chris Evans wouldn't be cast as Captain America today because he was already Human Torch. I bet if that was.
Oh, good point.
Well, had Human Torch been bigger,
Yes, but
Right.
I'm saying that on that level of scale, he was
Yeah.
playing an A-list Marvel superhero
True.
and then played another.
Right.
I just think it's for them. They're going to have to figure out a way to do it to fit them in the universe, and there's all sorts of ways they can. But I think you just do fresh, and I think build to Dark Phoenix. Both times this has happened.
Yeah, they've rushed it.
I know.
We have no emotional investment in Sophie Turner
Right.
and Ty Sheridan because they've been extras in the other previous movies.
Yeah.
And the Brett Ratner thing was just a mess.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it was.
They fumbled
and
it.
it's still not the worst X-Men movie now, the Brett Ratner one.
Oh, now it isn't.
with the
which is
full
ironic.
X-Men, or are you just saying any
Franchise.
X-Men subsidiary
Well,
of?
we'll see on our list, won't we?
Yeah, that's very true. But I'm like, really worse? There's
But I
something
would go-
worse than 3?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and yeah, for me there is certainly.
There's 2.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay. Okay.
That doesn't mean they're on my list, but there are
Right,
2
right, right.
that, are-
This is gonna
that
be
I would
fun.
rather not watch ever again.
Oh, I like this.
Wow.
This is gonna be fun.
Huh, that's interesting. I haven't sat down. I don't rewatch X-Men films though.
Well, that's
so I
it.
don't really have much of a bond to any of them. So it's just like, oh, is that okay? Because whatever. I mean,
That's an indictment on the franchise.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like. All right, you want to tell them how the show works, Matt?
yeah. Once we set a topic, all three of us went our individual ways and created personal top 10 lists. We show back up here. The way a 3-man show works is I do my bottom 5, he does his bottom 5, you do your bottom 5. I do my next 3, he does his next 3, you do your next 3. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the 3 of us.
Right, and if it's in the bottom 5,
6 through 10.
6 through 10, it's not a punt. But if we say anything within our 6 through 10 that is in your top 5, then that's a punt.
Yeah, and we save the discussion for when we get to it, whoever has
Right.
the highest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, and if we have something he doesn't have it in our bottom, then we just talk about it.
Yep.
Whoever brings it up first.
sounds good.
And that's it.
All right.
And we'll walk you through the rest. If there are any other questions, just let us know.
Well, I am drunk. Did a little mescaline in the parking lot. so-
Perfect. I would expect
Really?
nothing less.
No.
No?
No.
Have you done mescaline?
No.
Okay. Any clue? What do you think your guess is as to what it's like to experience
Well, I
mescaline?
got dosed with LSD at a party once,
Okay.
and that was odd.
What does that mean, dosed?
I was at a party, a college party, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, open your mouth." I opened my mouth, and he put a tab
Oh.
of blotter.
a gel
acid in
tab
my
or
mouth.
just-
Piece
oh,
of
blotter?
Piece of paper
Okay.
with the blotter
Okay.
acid
Yeah.
on it, and it was cut with a lot of amphetamines.
Sure.
So I was up.
It's always cut with something.
I was up forever. And I had a sword fight rehearsal because I was in the world's worst production of Romeo and Juliet the next morning. So I was
Fantastic.
tripping and sword fighting.
Who were you playing?
what?
Tybalt?
I played Benvolio, who
Oh.
I refer to as the Cliff's Notes character. He says, "In case you haven't been watching, here's everything that just happened slowly." Yeah.
What time did you take it at?
It was like about 10 o'clock at night.
That's late.
Wow.
That's late.
And it was also the middle of the summer, so it was super hot. So it was like flop
It's the best time to do it, though. It is.
It was just the nerd version of like Requiem for a Dream.
So it's not okay. So it's different than that. It's much more mellow. There's no amphetamines or speed or cocaine or whatever they cut. So all
It's
acid
just
is cut with
cactus
that.
juice, right?
What's that?
It's just cactus juice, right?
It's this synthesized. It's synthesized peyote. So the psychoactive. I think that's what it is.
Wow.
Let's talk about our top 10 drug stories.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's what you learn here on the Top 10 show. What mescaline feels
yeah.
like.
Look, I can't officially endorse it, so I shan't. But listen to the tone of my voice.
Although 2 states are now making mushrooms legal.
What?
And they've also proven recently that taking mushrooms and controlled LSD can help people with severe chronic depression.
Yep.
It causes
And
a reboot
PTSD.
in their brain. And
What?
PTSD. It causes a lot of your cells to reboot and forget that trauma.
They've used MDMA with PTSD, and that's helped.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to explore this. I'm gonna
Look,
get,
you know,
I'm going to get back to the
The
old
drug
Rocha.
had original
Yeah,
intentions.
nature makes stuff that is good for us.
Yeah.
but we destroy it all and then make
Yeah.
energy drinks and
make money off of it.
OxyContin.
Yeah, we make heroin out of opium. You know what's good? Opium. Let's see if we can crank that up a couple notches. That's what we did. I mean, it's ridiculous.
This is not enough.
Hey, you know, look, we've all had already too much to drink and be like, I could use some more drinks. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I can
we're
still handle it.
self-destructive by nature. Exactly.
I still know
And
my
with heroin,
name.
it's like, I don't need all my teeth.
It's more like I shit myself 3 times, but I've been high for so long. It doesn't matter.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Today's episode brought to you by the Disney Channel.
And Nancy Reagan, R.I.P. All right, let's move on. All right,
Well,
let's
you're
do-
half right about that.
Hey-oh. Go ahead, my friend.
Jumping in. So at number 10
Yeah.
was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Punt.
Yeah, punt.
Okay. I wanted to put it higher, but it's like,
Yeah.
I've got reasons. 9 for me is Hulk, the Eric Bana.
Oh, what?
Dude,
Okay.
Hulk dogs. As soon as Hulk dogs
yeah,
enter
true.
the equation, I'm like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
fucking so checked out of this
Yeah.
movie. It's
Okay.
ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. I have no attachment to anything that's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer Connelly and Banner were fine. It just was a little too melodramatic.
Mm-hmm.
It was more the sad sack Hulk walking, or rather Banner walking away at the end of the TV show with his thumb out and that depressing music.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was that whole tone throughout the movie. Exactly. So I didn't like that show as a kid. I was like, I don't know, it bums me out every time.
It really was a depressing show. If people go back and watch that show,
Yeah.
there's rarely a moment of happiness in that
no,
show.
his whole life sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny, though, because Bill Bixby and Linda Carter both were playing superheroes in the 70s, and they both played them like actual roles.
Yes.
He was...
He's
say what
good.
you will about the goofiness of that show and the wigs and stuff, but he's really committed. He's
yeah.
playing. That's why, as a kid, it screwed us up so much, because it was like, I'm so sad for the... Oh.
I know.
All the time.
And then whatever, he triumphs, gets through the problem, and at the end it's just like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and you're like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
again, we're doing this another week.
Yeah.
It was too much for me. So I couldn't get into it as a kid. But this movie just reminded me of that. It's like, all this undertone of let the Hulk be the Hulk, which they do now more with Marvel, although they still have the same problem. It's tough to make a Hulk standalone.
Yeah.
Well, they can't, actually.
But right
Because
now, yeah.
Universal has the rights. They can't.
Well, I'm just saying, in general,
And for real, they can use the Hulk in a character, but they can't use him in the title of a movie
Right.
because Universal would have to co-produce it.
Yeah.
but I'm just saying in the context of actually making a movie, it's tough because he can win every situation. So that's why you can't bring him in. It's like on Game of Thrones. The dragons can't be in everything because
Right.
they solve every problem.
It's interesting in the comic book right now. The comic book is called the Immortal Hulk, and he's
Okay.
immortal.
Yeah.
But it's a horror take on the Hulk, and it's a very body horror that would work really well as a movie because all the different personalities of Banner and Hulk manifest in a different Hulk form.
Oh, nice.
So it's sort of a multiple personality movie
Right.
with superheroes. It's really fascinating
God.
stuff. Are we allowed to counterpoint to your Hulk movies?
Sure, we're having a discussion.
Okay. I actually really like the Ang Lee Hulk movie, and I can tell you why. I agree with you.
I don't mind it.
I agree with you. The one thing that I think would have made that movie much more successful is a movie opens. We're in Golden Gate Park on a beautiful summer day in San
Okay.
Francisco, and Betty and Bruce and their golden retriever are having fun because we never see them enjoy each other's
Yeah,
company.
true.
Just one. It's much like the scene in the first X-Men movie
Yep.
when you see Wolverine in the cage. Wolverine's a pussycat for the rest of that movie. He's
Yeah.
nice to kids and sacrifice, but in that cage match, you're like, oh, he's violent. He's unpredictable. I get it.
Yeah.
The movie's dour. The movie is incredibly dour.
Right.
But I think Ang Lee is aiming for something, especially at the beginning of our comic book genre things. He's aiming for the fences.
Yeah.
So
He is.
I would rather see something that's 80% successful than something easy.
Yeah.
And I do think the editing is some of the best comic book editing in a movie we've ever
Well, the
had.
panels
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah,
It's
the
interesting.
panels are excellent.
Yeah.
That is hands down my favorite part of that movie.
But it's a long movie. I get why
Yeah.
get why people
It's-
don't like it. It's dour.
Well, yeah, but then Norton's on the other side it's like action that I don't really care about because
Yeah.
I'm not invested in it, but the action was better.
Yes, but
So on
he's
some
so-
level, I enjoy it more just because like, well, I came here on some level to see this.
I believe that if you could have mashed those two Hulk movies together, you'd
Yeah.
have made the perfect Hulk movie.
If I gave a shit about Ed
yeah.
Norton,
I'd have been with Banner in the Norton version.
Eric,
Okay.
I liked Banner as Bruce Banner. I
Banner's
liked
kind
him.
of like Henry Cavill as Superman. He deserves to be in
Yeah.
the good version of those movies.
Yeah.
Because Banner's performance in that is really great.
It is.
It's just that the most of it is just this dour, my dad didn't love me, I'm
Right.
depressed thing. And it does feel like Chekhov.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
like
be
a Russian
fine with that
tragedy.
until you get into these cartoon Mask 3 dogs that
Yeah.
are just juiced up and it's like a big poodle and a pit bull and some other kind of dog.
And also the Nick Nolte stuff. Like, I can make my hands be this or that. And I was like, oh, come on, Dad.
I know.
Come on, Daddy Banner? That makes no sense.
That's where it's like an expectation of maybe they'll be able to do it. They have Ang Lee attached and going into it and just like, man, this was just not what I wanted.
And it was still so pre-MCU that they felt the need to make everything tied up, like in the original Batman movie where the Joker killed Batman's parents. Everything was far too tidy back then because they didn't know if they were going to get sequels, and they wanted to. They engaged in those tropes that were never actually real tropes in comic books.
Yeah.
So but I think its ambition for me pushes it over, and it might be damning it with faint praise, but it's the best Hulk movie of the two.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's a potato situation. They're both equally like I'm unsatisfied with either.
Understood. What's your number 9?
9. That was my 9.
Oh, sorry.
My 8 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Wait, the Michael Bay one?
I'll do number 3. Yeah, no, I'm talking of the originals.
New Line
Wow.
ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Of the back in the day. I'll take 3. As I said the last time we did this show, I believe you can throw a dart at all 3.
Is that Turtles in Time?
Yes. Where they go back to feudal Japan because there's some stupid staff or something or other that they...
I've already turned the channel.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it, what makes no sense is some feudal prince or whatnot uses the staff in 1600 something or other. And then it starts to glow in modern times as if the two times are somehow linked. Are they going on simultaneously? Like, what's going on here? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But then there's only so much time it can be open, and they go back to feudal Japan. It's just like, it's a ridiculous excuse of there's no Foot Clan, but we need martial arts.
Right.
Let's send them to Japan. And you're like, okay. And it's, I mean, to me, it's, I don't know. The first one, I at least have some nostalgia, but it's not a good movie. The second one, it's a depreciating return on already a bad return.
Yeah.
I loved them as a kid, though. I fucking loved them.
Of course.
That first one especially, and the damn soundtrack, and I listened to it nonstop.
It's Elias Koteas, one of those like actors who...
The Canadian De Niro.
Yeah, who kind of was always on the precipice.
That's not an insult, actually. I was always shocked he never played De Niro's brother.
He was always on the precipice.
It sounds like if you go to the store and there's paper towels, there's the brawny guy, and then it's like the knockoff right next to him. The beard's not as full. It's not a black and red check. It's like a weird off colors, and you're like,
It's like all these. It's not Crest toothpaste. It's like, wow.
Yeah, precisely.
It contains lead.
I remember a buddy of mine used to get cereal, Sprinkle Spangles. And I'm like,
Sprinkle
it was delicious.
Made of
But
real
where did you get this? Exactly. It was pure sugar. The milk afterwards was the best part.
That's where you did mescaline the first time.
Yeah. Dude, I was all hyped up as a kid. That's why I got a drug problem, man. Too much sugar early on.
And April is the actress from Armageddon who plays Will Patton's ex-wife with the kid. Okay. That's April from
What is her name?
Oh, God. Dude. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's tough.
Good luck.
I'm not gonna. Sometime before we're done, I'm gonna scream her name out like I have Tourette's.
Oh, perfect. I like that.
It.
Something to look forward to. All right, what was your number 7?
7 was Elektra.
Yeah, it was one of my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I didn't expect much from that, so I didn't, it wasn't disappointing.
They try and make you care about these characters, and yet there is no chemistry amongst this nuclear family type of thing that they're trying to create. They go, so she's supposed to, she's an assassin on the bad side of things or in the gray area type of thing. And she gets sent on a job. This is where I was like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? To what looks like the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
She is surrounded by conifers. There are pine trees every which direction. And the girl breaks into her house. And she had just gone swimming and gets out of the lake. And she's like, you want to come over tonight? It's Christmas. And you're like, there's no way she's swimming in a fucking lake. Pacific
Vancouver.
Northwest. Anywhere that has this many conifer trees come Christmas time is fucking way too cold. And they're just standing out there in thin Forever 21 like sweaters that offer no protection. No, as far as any woman I've ever known, they need to layer up on the slightest fucking breeze.
So no men worked on this movie.
All men worked on this, and they're just like, "This is what you do."
No women.
All men, and you already don't care. And I'm like, "What? It's fucking Christmas?"
Yeah.
And you're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And then the action is pathetic.
Oh, yeah, the action's pretty bad.
There's always a wind machine in her face to whip her hair around whenever she's assassin in full red. Yeah. But it's also to cover up the fact that she can't do a lot of this stunt choreography. So if the hair is always in from the face, you can just put in the body double.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my fucking God, this whole thing from top to bottom doesn't make sense. This hand Yakuza type of, but they have magical powers. Okay.
This guy still works too, Rob Bowman. He does TV all over the place.
Really?
He just did 3 episodes of Code Black. But before he did Elektra, he'd done Reign of Fire like 3 years earlier. People,
I don't mind that movie.
Yeah, people kind of like Reign of Fire. And then he'd done the X-Files movie
when it
as
succeeds for me, it succeeds really well.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like it takes a while to get to the better parts of that movie.
Who's the girl in the...
And what?
Who's the little girl?
Elektra? I don't know.
Abby-
the
is
dude
it
was on
Abby?
ER.
Oh, yeah, Goran Visnik. Yeah,
you go.
I know him.
I remember April O'Neil's actor's name.
Oh,
Paige Turco.
there it is. Paige Turco. Wow. So it was Kristen Zine. Who, I don't know who she was on Kyle XY for a while.
No.
So she played the little
You're
girl.
supposed to like her, but she seems like a jerk.
Oh, she is kind of a jerk. Yeah, I'm
Even
not going
as
to
a
lie.
kid, I hated movies where little kids were characters like that. where
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like Cousin Oliver.
Yeah.
Les Mis, when Gavroche gets killed, I'm like, finally.
Yes.
It's like,
Thank you.
Make an
Yeah.
R-rated movie about assassins. I don't need a cute little kid in it because one,
Yeah.
when I'm a kid, I know it's pandering. And when I'm an adult, I'm like, this isn't appropriate. I don't
Yeah.
want to see a little kid in an R-rated violent movie.
Right.
No, unless it's like a professional or something, and it's about the two
Yes,
of them and their
that's
dynamic.
the- There's always the one exception
Don't
case.
shoehorn in a character
Yeah.
to make me, because that's their save the dog. See, she's a good person because she interacts with this young girl, and they have that yoga-ish scene where they're
Yeah.
like, but she's being a jerk the whole time, and then finally she breaks character and says like boo or something, and they both laugh uproariously.
I always found that Jennifer Gardner should have embraced this more. Like, Alias is a good show. She was good in that. I liked Peppermint for what it was. She is built to do action heroine stuff, and I've never understood why she never made it like a goal, like a real goal of hers to do this and make it her calling card. And watching Elektra, you see that, yeah, she can be misused, but she has the chops to play action hero.
I think it's a choice. I think if you
Yeah,
look at
that's
her-
what I'm saying. I
if you look at her
understand.
career, I think maybe it's how in his later career Spielberg has shied away from the darkness that he's so good at. I think that maybe she because she's a mom with 3 kids, maybe
Yeah.
she doesn't want to play stuff like that. Because I think she'd be a great villain if she leaned into it.
Oh, villain would be
You know?
great.
Put her in in the Black Widow movie. I want to have her fight the Black Widow.
Okay, that's interesting.
Put her
I
as a
like that
villain in a
idea.
James Bond
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
because she's so poised and
Yeah.
so intelligent. I would like to see her be more of a dark hero. And it wasn't Elektra PG-13.
Yeah, it
you
was.
know?
Yeah, it was never going to be too dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think also she wanted to do the romantic comedy, the straight comedy,
Right.
this to try and expand
She's
because very
got-
few women get to that kind of name recognition.
Watch her little bit of screen time in Love, Simon, man.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
in Love,
she
Simon.
is.
She's an amazing, simple, economical actress.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see her do something, lean into playing. Her and Tom Hanks should play villains.
Yeah.
I know.
Because they would be able to get away with so much before we stopped
Well,
liking
and
them.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise. I want to see Tom Cruise.
One more
That's
time.
never going to happen.
I know,
After
but
Collateral?
Collateral is so
Collateral
good.
is
It's just like,
great.
dude, do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Even like Old Man, if he comes back as basically like Dark Knight-ish type of, where he's old, grizzled, comes back and fucking villain at that point. Oh,
I'd
it's
love
so
to see
good.
him as a Bond villain down the road, like 10 years from now.
Yeah, that's when I buy.
Like a new Blofeld and shit.
You make him the puppet master behind, be like 100%. I've
Yeah.
seen Tom Cruise get out of every ridiculous situation in the world.
Yep.
So,
Except Cocktail.
well,
No one has
listen.
seen Cocktail.
How dare you? I love that movie. I have it on VHS. All right, and that soundtrack is damn good. All right, what's your number 6?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aruba, Jamaica.
Yeah, little Beach
Ooh,
Boys.
I wanna take you.
You get little Fabulous
Were
Thunderbirds
you
on that
envious of
soundtrack.
Stamos? You had the same complexion, hair
Oh,
color.
I
and you're
hated
like, this
John
could be me.
Stamos. I hated John Stamos.
I'm just saying, on stage with the Beach Boys, got the tour with them playing just the bongos.
I've never seen anybody do more with less. But yeah, all right, go ahead.
Have you
What's
met
your
our
number 6?
president?
Oh.
Whoop, I won't talk about. Sorry.
Oh,
cut out.
God damn it, Hendrik. Now, what's your number 6, man?
6 then is Superman 4.
Yeah, punt. Just barely, but
Fine.
a punt. All right, my number 10 is the reason for Elektra Daredevil.
Punt.
Okay.
Oh, punt. Wow, in your top 5. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I knew that was going to be bad, and the fact that it was that bad is like exactly what I expected.
Well, see, well, we'll talk about it. All right, my number 9 then is Iron Man 2.
I came so close.
Yeah.
Most made it didn't
Yeah.
on the list.
Yeah.
There's a whole clot of ones like 11 through 16
Yeah.
that could all be number 10. It's like 1 point difference
Yep.
between all of them.
I hear you. This one, it made the cut because I was like, my level of disappointment walking out of this movie rather was just astronomical. And because I loved Iron Man so much, and then to walk in and see this like stupid, clumsy film and have the way Scarlett Johansson is presented as Black Widow was really ham-fisted, and then they let Mickey just eat up the scenery because he'd done such great
from the wrestler.
restrained work in the wrestler.
And Mickey Rourke is playing Tom Hardy playing Nicolas Cage on meth.
with a Malkovich accent.
Yeah.
It was from Rounders. It was terrible. And you get the reason why he's a villain. Like, you get, okay, this makes
His motivation
sense.
is pure.
Yeah, his motivation makes sense.
It does.
Like, okay, get it. But when you've got, him being left to his own devices with no direction, and I'm not going to bash Jon Favreau too much, and this is tough to corral Mickey Rourke. It just doesn't work overall. And I've seen people do MCU pieces now in retrospect, try to defend the film. And I always hate that shit. It sucked when it came out. 20 years later, it doesn't suck any less.
Well, I don't go
No matter
back
how
to
much your
revisit.
editor's paying you
In
to
fact,
say this.
if you revisit it, it gets more disappointing
Yes!
than hateful. You're like, wow, you look that movie single-handedly, if it wasn't financially successful, could have derailed the whole MCU.
Oh, absolutely.
That movie bombed because it's just the strengths of Robert Downey Jr. that carry that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the only reason we all went to see it, or go back to revisit it now.
Yeah.
just to spend more time with him.
Yeah.
Shit, though, 3 on some level is just as disappointing to me.
Oh, yeah, Shane Black breaks my heart, man. Shane
Dude.
Black, I'll say this. I either love Shane Black movies or
Yeah.
I hate them. I'm
Yeah.
never ambivalent about them, so he's at least making something with some sort of vision, no matter how bad or good it is. But Iron Man 3 just feels like Dreamcatcher. It feels like
Oh,
Dreamcatcher.
so bad.
Dreamcatcher's every Stephen King book thrown into a blender.
Yeah, it
This movie
was.
feels
Yeah.
like every Shane Black motif thrown into a movie.
Well, it's a problem. If you give him money, the movies rarely turn out well.
But yeah, if you force him to be
limit his,
creative.
yeah, he's great on limited budgets, but big money like that Predator fucking piece of shit, like he just cannot do stuff with a
That
lot of
movie
money.
is so god awful.
Yep.
So god awful.
People are trying to defend that movie to
You're
me
out of your
from the
mind.
trailers and everything. I was like, everything about this says it's going to suck.
It's so dumb.
And then when they showed it at Hall H, that whole clip, I was like, this is further proof. But people were like, no, this is going to be funny. I'm like, you're insane.
No.
He just can't do it
Another
with a
movie
budget.
with a little goddamn kid in it.
Yeah.
That's a movie I don't think I'll ever see again. There's no point in going back
no
for it.
logical reason.
Yeah. I'd rather go watch the Adrian Brody if I'm going to go back for anything
fair.
other than. I don't mind that one. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Getting dropped on and you're on a game preserve in essence.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
I wrote the prequel comic book to that movie.
Oh,
Did you really?
Wow.
The dead soldier they find at the beginning, I wrote his backstory in a
What?
graphic novel called
what's his name?
Predators. Oh, I don't remember now. It's been 10 years. but
That's great, Mark. Holy
thanks
shit.
for making the story go from, oh, he wrote that. Oh, no, he just hacked that one out.
Well, it's just, basically we've never been name dropped in essence in our own category. So
Yeah.
we were both taken aback.
We were impressed. We were
Yeah,
very
sitting with royalty, for Christ's sakes, as far as this show is
the
concerned.
Prince of Guam.
Still, though, you're a prince. It's not bad. It's better than us.
All right, my number 9 is Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no attachment to that character.
This was a period in time where I loved everything
Disney's
Stallone.
Judge Dredd. Let's qualify.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not Dredd. Dredd is
No.
incredible.
Dredd is fantastic.
Dredd is fantastic, and they should get a goddamn sequel.
Never happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Judge Dredd, maybe it'll be a series, but Judge Dredd was like this period of time. I was like, Stallone, this is like Demolition Man time. This is all this where I'm like, this is great. I'm dragging my dad to see these movies, and my dad's into it. And then this piece of dog shit comes out. Yeah, all of that. And Armand Asante chewing up the scenery as well. Rob Schneider acting like an idiot. All of this whole Jurgen Prochnow, Max von Sydow thing.
Yeah.
They're all just wasted in this fucking movie that is just
Max von
terrible.
Sydow worked with Bergman, and he was in Judge Dredd doing scenes with Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Got to get a paycheck, It's the
guess
end of the
so.
career. Nobody faulted him for it.
I've never seen anyone look 72 since they were 30 years old like Max von Sydow. It's incredible.
Wilford Brimley.
Oh, good call.
He's been 75 my entire life.
It's good call.
I mean,
And side note, Wilford Brimley was like 50 in Cocoon.
Yeah.
what was it? The last fucking Mission Impossible. So Tom Cruise was older than Wilford Brimley in Cocoon or something like that. You're like, whoa, holy
Crazy.
shit!
If you cast the Golden Girls today with the actresses the same ages as the originals, it would be like Kim Basinger, Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer,
Yeah.
and Kate Blanchett.
That works. That's a hell of a Golden Girls. That's
Yeah, seriously.
Baz Luhrmann's Golden Girls coming soon.
I'd love to see them do
Well, you're building in a specific audience. That's all you really need.
And I was a massive Judge Dredd fan at the time too. It was one of those.
Had you
I was
read the comic?
Oh yeah, because I was into comics so deeply that you start to branch out. Because of my 20s, so you start to branch out. Yeah, and you start to branch out into the independent stuff.
Judge Death.
And you, Judge Death was fan.
Stare into the face of fear. Gaze into the fist of dread. Yeah.
What?
It's a famous moment. There were four dark judges, like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and one was Judge Death, and one was Judge Fear. And Judge Fear had this helmet, this armor helmet, and he opens the thing and says, "Gaze into the face of fear," and Judge Dredd punches through his head and says, "Gaze into the fist of dread," and it's a classic. If you're a Judge Dredd fan, that's the we're not in Kansas.
It's a good line.
Anymore.
Well, to put it in context, because when you said it before, I was like, "Gaze or what? What?"
But yeah, that kind of stuff, and Lobo, like all those were like those independent ones you branch out, because that's what made you a cool comic book fan. If you knew the independent heroes you could go find, and so Judge Dredd was something like Hellblazer. Those things you're just like sucked into the world of what they created, because it was more honest and brutal and raw than what you were seeing in the mainstream comics. So I was loving that, and I thought, well, Stallone, he might do something really awesome. There's a great change of pace, what they can do, and you go and I just was. My dad and I walked out. And my dad looked at me and he goes, "I love you. I'm never going to see a Stallone film with you again. I'm sorry."
He made the right
choice.
choice.
I understand.
That movie just looks so aggressively cheap.
Yeah.
You can tell they didn't film anything ever outside. It's a claustrophobic movie that has no art direction, and it's overlit. It's just there's not one redeemable thing about that movie.
I agree.
Well, when you see their costumes, just like this is one massive shoulder pad with a bunch of big. I realize that's what it looked like in the comic book, but now we're staring on the big screen. It looks ridiculous.
Well, if you're going to do something that stylized, the whole movie has to be that
exactly
stylized.
Correct.
But the rest,
know.
honestly, by the time I got to Demolition Man, so that period of Stallone to me, I associate with Taco Bell. Like everything from his movies just remind me like of the same person that designed a Taco
The
Bell.
movies gave you diarrhea.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I just never cared at that point. Going into it, I was like, that looks terrible. And I didn't see it until it came out on DVD or VHS or whatever it came out on.
Right.
Afterwards.
All right, so my number 7 then is X-Men Apocalypse.
I didn't hate it that much.
Holy shit!
Compared to all these others?
Really?
That's one of the two.
That is right.
That I think are the two worst ones. But
Yes.
that one didn't make.
I think it's slightly better than 3, though. I still think 3 is worse.
See, wow. I will say 3 is a worse made film, but the caliber of talent on X-Men Apocalypse,
True,
and the budget they had, and following up Days of Future Past, which felt revitalizing. It's just a turgid movie that wastes every single person's energy. It's almost so aggressively blah that it's hard to hate.
Well, it's not hard.
It's hard for me to have any emotion.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's not hard for me though, because I loved Days of Future Past. Loved Days, both cuts, the road cut and the original cut. And so I was excited because I didn't like First Class. I did not like First Class. I really was bored out of my fucking mind, that movie. But so when Days of Future Past came, I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. Now they're bringing in Apocalypse, which was my favorite run from the 90s of the X-Men. When Angel became Archangel, he became my favorite X-Men. He superseded Wolverine. That was impossible. But I loved what they did with Warren Worthington III. And so I was like, okay, Apocalypse, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. Fucking do this shit. Oscar Isaac, oh, yes.
Well,
and then the trailers. And then you're like, okay, it's just a trailer. And you go in there and you watch, and you're just more and more depressed as the film goes on. You go, how could Bryan Singer do this? And how could everybody involved in this production be okay with what he was doing all the way through? And yes, that scene with Fassbender as Magneto hiding out with his family, but yes, it's a redeeming part of the movie, but it's nowhere near enough to overwhelm everything else.
It's from an entirely different movie.
And that's what I think is so weird.
It feels like it's an extra from First Class.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Or even Days of Future Past in some random timeline. But this is just horrific from beginning to end. By the time it was done, I did a middle finger to the screen as I was walking out. I really did. It was impulsive. See, I was so mad.
The thing is,
it's Singer.
But I have such low expectations for any X-Men film at this point. Going into it, I was like, you got lucky a couple times. Like, you're building to, so I'm trusting you a little bit. But at the same time, if you end up being shit, that's fine. I've seen this be shit before.
Right.
So I was just like, I don't care enough.
Yeah.
It's not like we have a track record of they've made excellent. This is incredible what you've done with the property, and this is what you're giving us.
Right.
Where they've done like,
yeah,
or a little bit better than that, but
Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah, I just can't get. I'll never get it out of my mind how much it disappointed me.
It doesn't make a lot of sense from the jump. It doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah, right.
Like the fail-safe on the pyramids with those stupid big stones to stop people from attacking him when he's his most vulnerable. But if he can rematerialize matter, then why couldn't he just make doors as he enters? Exactly. Exactly. We need this big, stupid, dramatic set piece that makes no sense, and that's the first 10 minutes.
Brilliant.
And that's not even. That's one part of that doesn't make sense. And then the fucking the covers on top of the cone, the gold cone that derives energy and whatnot, and directs it down into him. It's just like, well, do you need to have that covered? Is it for sandstorms? How do you get that cover back up? What the fuck?
And the 97 characters who work for Apocalypse who look like they're from an old Abercrombie and Fitch catalog.
Yes. Yeah.
Walking around
just introduced, like, oh, there's 12 characters that are going to do stuff or not, and we're not going to be invested in them all because they have zero personality.
And they are rightly killed off pretty fucking quick.
Well, that's the worst thing. If you're 5 to 10 minutes into a movie and you inadvertently just mouth, "Oh no," you're in for a shit show all the way through, and that's certainly one.
I was just like, that's X-Men being X-Men.
Fair.
5 minutes in, the fucking stone thing is like, what the fuck? Okay.
That's the way to see it. That's the way to see it.
Yeah.
All right, my number 6 then is Spider-Man 3.
That's a punch.
Oh, all right. Go ahead, Mr. Andreyko.
Well, number 10
This is gonna be
is
fun.
I qualified this for these guys beforehand. This is a superhero movie
All right.
that was not a comic book movie first.
Okay.
And it's a movie called Condor Man that Disney made in
Hell
the
yeah.
70s.
Okay.
Now, some of you will be like, well, that's not really fair. It's not a published comic book. When I was a kid, back in the days when dinosaurs roamed the earth, there wasn't a lot of superhero material.
No, there wasn't.
We had Hulk, we had Wonder Woman reruns, we had the Batman reruns, the
Yep.
Spider-Man 67, and an occasional Superman movie.
Right.
Condor Man, I'm like, oh, Disney's making a superhero movie. And
Yeah.
they published a comic book tie-in.
Yeah.
It stars Michael Crawford, best known as the Phantom of the Opera from Broadway.
Perfect
Brandon
casting.
Wayne.
Keep coming.
Or Sonny and what's the one with Barbara? Oh, Hello Dolly.
Hello, Dolly, yeah.
He plays the young lover in Hello Dolly.
Okay, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Continue.
Needless to say, he's not Wolverine. It's just awful. It's like the Apple Dumpling Gang of superheroes.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what it wants to be, and it could have been fun. There are glimmers in it where you're like, even as a disappointed 9-year-old hopped up on sugar, I'm like, that's the choice they made. It's just lifeless, and for so much of my life, it's why now seeing all these superhero movies that come out that have budgets of billions of dollars and everyone loves.
Yeah.
Movies like Condor Man made me think, until these started happening, I'm never going to see a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie was not only bad and just the worst kind of Disney factory stuff in the mid-'70s when Disney almost went under.
Yeah.
And it's just lifeless. There's just nothing entertaining about it. You watch the movie, you're like, I don't know who this is for at all.
Kids are dumb, so you make something. I'm just saying, at that point, it's just like we make money on this.
Even us dumb kids were like, no, we're not buying this garbage.
After we went to see it.
What did it do, though? You know what I mean? Its budget was nothing. How much money did it make? It's part of their factory system.
Notice there hasn't been a reboot. That tells you how much money it cost and how
Yeah.
much it made.
Well,
Good
give them
point.
time.
Yeah,
Give them time. They got
Well, they're
Disney
gonna do a
Plus
Broadway musical
content.
first, and then an animated version of the Broadway musical. Then they'll do the movie.
What was the shitty
That's a
one?
weird lineage. I don't know about that one.
What was the weird one with Bud Cort? Where he was he was trying to fly in the Houston Astrodome, and then he slammed.
Yeah, that's
What is that one? Wasn't Shelley Duvall?
I want to say Waldo Pepper, but that's the other
No,
one.
that's the Robert Redford one.
But this is it's
Yeah, what was it called?
No.
It was right around the
It's
same
Robert Altman.
time. Yeah, it was right around the same time as Condor Man. 'Cause I always get those two confused. Because I made my parents take me to Condor Man. 'Cause I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my God.
He flies.
He
and it's in
flies.
Paris.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, this is going to be awesome. And it was horrific. But yeah, he did a film where it's a really dark fucking film about him trying to create something to fly. And Brewster McCloud.
Brewster McCloud.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I've heard of.
Oh, it's so terrible. And the ending is like sad as fuck because he's just like, he thinks he's like achieved flight and he's so happy and he's proved everybody wrong. And then he starts to realize that he doesn't have the endurance because he's not a physical specimen to keep it going. And he starts to have a nerd freak out when nerd freakouts weren't the main thing and crashes down to the Houston AstroTurf. And they just keep going, playing the game, and a band stumps all over him. It's fucking so weird. It's so fucking weird. Anyway.
And you wonder why Disney made that film. That was his competition at the box office for your dollar.
My number 9
Yes, your number 9?
is Blade 3.
Oh, good choice. So close.
Blade 3. Blade. We owe you so much, but you gave us so little. The first two, and I know there were defenders of the first two movies, and the first two movies work specifically because of the directors on them.
Good point.
Okay.
Stephen Norrington, that opening scene in Blade, with the blood coming out of the sprinkler system,
Blood
the
rave.
stylization of that movie, considering he had no money, he played Wesley Snipes to his strengths.
Yep.
It's a dark,
Even Dorff.
R-rated film. Stephen
Yeah.
Dorff. Stephen Dorff is
Until-
chewing scenery in the best possible
Yes,
Stephen Dorff
agreed.
way.
Yeah, until True Detective, I haven't seen Stephen Dorff do. There was that one that Sofia Coppola won.
Oh, yeah,
wasn't there?
somewhere.
But it's rare.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
to get an excellent performance, because that was when you're like, dude, I might have Stephen Dorff in my life for a while.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of disappeared.
Yep.
It's just a mess. It was directed by the writer,
David Goyer. Yeah.
And there were allegedly so many problems making that
yeah.
movie. Wesley
Snipes wouldn't-
come out of his trailer. He
Yeah.
was stoned in his trailer all the time. They had to CG his face on his stunt double for a substantial part of the movie. Allegedly, Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel are trying.
Yeah.
But once again, you're giving them nothing. Is it who plays Dracula in that?
Oh, it's what's his face? Dominic.
From
the poor man's Gerard Butler, Dominic
Right.
Purcell.
Dominic Purcell. Ugh. He's horrible as Dracula.
Oh, it is. It takes the minimal charms of that franchise and just says, "This is what Blade 3 is. What Blade should have been." It
What,
was a
the first
miracle that
one?
Blade 1 and 2 worked.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lifeless film.
I
pun
agree.
intended.
I get angry when I watch it because I feel like Wesley. Don't throw Ryan Reynolds jokes do not belong in a Blade film. And all these independent film actors do not belong in a fucking Blade film. Parker Posey does not belong in a fucking Blade film. Patton Oswalt does
I'm
not
fine.
belong in
Yeah,
a
I'm
Blade
fine with
film.
Parker. It's Patton. It's
who's
Beale.
Natasha Lyonne doesn't belong in this film.
Yeah.
None of that whole crew belongs. I don't believe that any of them are vampire fighters. And Beale, too, who's a limited actress at best, doesn't belong in this situation. And then you throw Purcell into it, it's even worse. Yeah. And all of it around. They surrounded him with crap and expected him to bring something good. And he didn't. And, and I don't blame Wesley for getting high. I would, too. What the fuck have I signed up for? But that being said, you still have to be a professional.
Yeah, you got to do your
That being
job.
said, having a hard time making a bad movie is not, I can't feed my kids because the plant went out of business.
Yeah, right.
So contextualize your suffering. Number 8,
Okay.
Green Lantern.
Oh, that's a punt.
Okay.
Wow. Didn't care at all.
Wow.
Save it.
All right,
Save it.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2.
What? Volume 2?
Dude, you're out of your mind.
Oh, my God.
See, this is where you're like, I don't mean to.
I'm not a contrarian.
Yeah, I'm not a contrarian.
No, let me say this. Guardians of the Galaxy, the original, is probably my favorite MCU movie.
That's fair.
It's in, I think, my top 3.
And I
top
do
4.
not like Chris Pratt at all.
Wow.
And I love that movie.
Okay.
This movie takes everything that worked so beautifully in the first movie and says, let's not do any of that. Let's make it over 2 hours. Let's break them all up. You have characters, and this writing, and this shows why Nicole Perlman was so important on the first one. That she did all the heavy lifting, right, creating that world, and when Gunn came in and brought his visual style. But this one, he wrote.
Right.
And this one, I love his his Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I like Slither, but this one is just it's a mess. One, the playing catch thing is so hackneyed and just lazy. I don't understand what Kurt Russell even means in this movie. You have Gamora.
Yeah, Gamora. Yeah.
Not the flying turtle, Gamora. And we're told that she's the best assassin in the galaxy. Right. Yet her sister is in a crashed ship and she's running directly at it with a cannon the size of this building, and she can't hit her.
Right.
It's like Aaron Taylor Johnson being a bomb diffuser in Godzilla and never actually diffusing a bomb even when he's holding one.
Right.
Or Tom Hiddleston in Kong Skull Island being a great tracker and they're on an island that's a quarter mile wide and he can't find them anywhere. We're told these things about these characters that are disproven by the actual script itself.
Yeah.
It just feels smug and lazy. It feels like a donut dipped in honey covered with ice cream. It's just the lily is gilded so many times.
Wow.
It is. And it's like I said, I don't hate the movie. I'm just epically disappointed by the movie.
That's
because
fair.
I love the first one. The first one was like, oh, the MCU can expand outwards.
Yeah.
This just feels like maybe he psyched himself out. The first one made so much, and that can happen. You know? You release Thriller. What do you do next?
Yeah, right.
I get that. I'm not saying he didn't try to make a bad movie, but this movie to me is just one of the most disappointing superhero movies of all time.
Fair.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I
love that they separate them and they made the characters kind of look inward.
Yeah.
So I think that only extends the life of the overall series because now we have even a more emotional connection to all of them.
See, for me, none of that emotion worked. It all felt forced.
See, I like.
It all felt like
some of the
I'm
stuff.
gonna be the sad one. I'm going to learn how to love. I'm going to learn
Right.
this. It just felt too calculated for me.
Okay.
Mileage may vary for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody. For me, I was just like, I just walked out of it and was like, I'm really sad.
No, Christian hated it too. And we go back and forth about it because a lot of us liked it here at Collider. So we've gone back and forth with Christian about it. So I get it. There are a lot of people that it just did not work for whatever reasons and the reasons you've laid out. Does it make you worried about him coming back to the third one? Or do you think he's learned his lesson a little
No,
bit?
because I think now.
Because this third script's supposed to be fantastic.
Well,
if they
of course
even
they
use-
say that, but at the same time, I think he gets extra confidence from the fact that he can churn out Suicide Squad and there's no real kind of, expectations. May hopefully do better, but it's the next one after that. So you got to like that juju out.
And he's going to be a controllable director.
Good point.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but
Yeah.
he's going to play well with others on this because he does get to come back and he does realize,
Yeah.
there's the only person that the Marvel Cinematic Universe needs is Kevin Feige.
Right.
Everybody else is replaceable.
yes.
Everybody is replaceable.
Yep.
So I have hope for it, and if Thor is part of it,
Yeah.
I think that'll be great. I think
Yeah.
that'll be great.
So good.
My number 6
Yep.
is a little movie by a director named Josh Trank.
Oh, shit.
That was neck and neck.
You put it in there, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because at least the Tim
The
Story
2015?
Fantastic Four movies have the charms. Like they're like Frozen for little boys. You can get a 10-year-old to watch them, and
Right.
they're innocuous. And Chris Evans is really good, and Michael Chiklis is really good,
Yeah.
and the Invisible Man we don't really care about. And then there's Jessica Alba. Oh wait, he's Mr. Fantastic. I only thought he was invisible in those movies. This movie. It feels like
He's
they
so
said,
good.
"Hey,
He
let's
went out of his way for that.
Oh,
joke.
yeah. He's
That's
so
great.
good at the shade, man.
That's great.
I like when we go on.
No need. No need. You just took an extra turn to get home for no reason.
I'm showing you my neighborhood."
Just to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, but you don't like your neighborhood. This fucking prick over here. That guy
Asshole on the hill.
Yeah. That guy burns leaves like every 3 days. My whole fucking house
I
stinks.
put sugar in his engine.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow. You go take this to felony, huh?
I grew up in Ohio, man. Yeah, we knock over cows and sugar in it.
Well, there's one thing knocking over a cow. Putting sugar in his engine is like, fuck you. You're out thousands of dollars.
Well,
That is clearly a felony.
in the 70s, that was impish.
Oh, that's true. There was impish in the 70s.
This movie is just a mess from
yeah.
And some of the casting is inspired. I have no problem with Michael B. Jordan
Sure.
being the Human Torch. I think Jamie Bell is an interesting because
Yeah.
he's such a brilliant actor and has been since
Yep.
Billy Elliot. And
Yep.
I hear he's fantastic in Rocket Man.
He is great in Rocket Man.
He's an amazing actor. The casting of him goes, that's not who I would think of Ben Grimm, but
Yeah.
having a guy who's muscular but slight become that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the not Rooney.
Right. Yeah, Kate Mara.
Really?
But she's fine.
I'm not attached to her in that movie in the slightest.
I'm not either, but then you have, it's like they went through the list and said, what actor working now has the least amount of charisma possible? Oh, let's get Miles Teller.
Oh, nice.
I'm not a fan of her.
Well, he's a fan enough of himself.
I know. That's what kills me about him. I read one interview and I'm like,
I want to give him
no.
the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
because he has been good in a couple of movies.
Yeah, Whiplash.
what, 2?
Whiplash. He was good in Whiplash.
Whiplash.
But then you find out, it seems like from my experience with him, that he's just playing a variation of himself.
Yeah.
The level of just dick. He's that guy in high school that went out of his way to be mean to the non-jocks.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He was the one that would flick boogers on people and across the board.
Yeah.
He didn't just pick on one person. He was just a dick.
Yeah.
Which is why he'd be a great Flash Thompson. Because, and I don't buy him as smart. I don't buy him as a scientist. I'm
Not,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh, no,
Not in
no.
that capacity.
I buy Denise Richards in a James Bond movie. As a
I was about to say
nuclear
Merry
physicist
Christmas.
before this. Yeah. I mean,
Only
it's-
comes once a
and
year.
the movie makes no sense. The movie makes no sense.
Oh, yeah.
How about
Yeah.
this? The Fantastic Four is a group of people. They're the Beatles of superheroes. Do it in the 60s. Doctor Doom is a foreign exchange student who inherits the throne of this communist nation.
Right.
The end. It's not that hard to make this movie well.
Yeah.
They spend so much time over-explaining everything. It feels like the world's least interesting episode of Star Trek.
Well, they're going to get a shot, MCU is, at doing Fantastic Four in the
Yeah.
near future. aren't
Down
they?
the road,
Because
yeah.
Doctor Doom seems like maybe a logical Avengers foe
Yeah.
going forward as a potential. Just introduce him here.
I don't know, man. I find that to be the most troubling of the two that they've acquired. Everyone's like crowing about having them both. Oh, they're going to get it right. there's such a stink on Fantastic Four.
It's bad.
Every time
It's
they
bad.
try.
They should have done what they were going to do originally. Peyton Reed was attached to it back
Right.
in the day, and I talked to Peyton about it. And he was going to do it set in the '60s, and he was going to do Down with
Okay.
Love, but with superheroes.
Right.
And and names that were bounced around back then were like George Clooney for Mr. Fantastic,
Oh!
Renee Zellweger for The Invisible Girl.
can see
And what year are we talking?
This was before the.
So,
it
like,
was
late-
right after
late
Bring It On,
90s?
late '90s, early aughts. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And Peyton is an amazing director.
Yes.
So I would love, and I think they can still do that. If you do a thing where the Avengers or they were the superheroes in the '60s and all the Thanos stuff pulled them out into the negative zone.
Yeah.
That's a great way to open up their universe some more and have them be that sort of Jersey Boys sort of
Yeah,
rat pack
swaggering,
hero
cool.
stuff.
Especially if you have Clooney.
Yeah.
Like this seems really. I want to see them do that now. It's just a one-off.
Some of the
hey, go
casting
back to
that
the
they've been
'60s.
I
Take
would
that
actually
cast.
I actually think Emily Blunt and John Krasinski
It's a perfect choice.
is
You have to do
it's
it.
one time the internet gets it right.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yep.
They'd be perfect for it.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
So that's my top. That's my five.
I would say that the first hour of the Fantastic Four works for me, and then it completely falls off the fucking cliff, which is why I didn't make my list. Because the first hour, I can actually be okay. I'm enjoying this interesting new approach to it. Right, the science fair, all that jazz, the hidden issues going on.
It's definitely two separate movies.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Right.
It feels like
and I like Reggie Cathy in it too, as their dad. He's great.
he's an amazing actor.
Matt, let's pick up with your top five, my friend.
My number 5 is Superman 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Two Soups made my list. That's no problem
that's
with that.
surprising. Okay.
It's not surprising.
You do
have-
hate Superman, yeah.
I am not a fan
do
of the
hate that
cinematic.
character.
I think what you said before with Cavill being robbed, I agree. I wish he'd gotten more after Man of Steel instead of having to do his buddy pick with Batman and just got him relegated to never getting his own standalone because I was interested and engaged in that Superman. Whereas as a kid, I did not care for it. I saw this in the theater just like I saw 4, but I liked Richard Pryor. And you're like, interesting, all right. And then it just devolves into this supercomputer that spits tarry Kryptonian fluid at, and he ends up like turning into a prick at one point, and I don't fucking care. And it's just over and over and over again. Every step seems so incorrect. It like fixes the Leaning Tower of Pisa and puts the oil tankers out in the middle of the fucking ocean. It's just like, what's going on in my Superman movie?
The opening of that movie alone should have warned you that not Busby Berkeley, that sort of Buster Keaton,
Yeah.
all that comedy stuff that goes over. It's like a 10-minute credit sequence with like, oh, he tripped. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, I mean, what year did this come out? 1984, 5?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I was like 6.
Back when Richard was trying to do something with his career. Yep.
When he was insurable.
Yep. Setting himself on fire and stuff.
Yeah, it was, well, we're
83. 83.
Yeah, you're only a couple of years removed from that.
Right.
It's not like it's not like he's not doing things that Wesley never got a chance to on Blade 3. If they made he come back for Blade 4, maybe he would have been in that territory of
That's probably
freebasing
true.
something or other. Like fuck this.
Yeah.
I really think he was getting high just to make himself forget about his looming tax problem that he had. And this one paycheck is not going to cover his bill. It doesn't like it. But yeah, and this was just like it really reinforced my distaste, and then I had to see the fourth one after that, and I was so checked out even as a kid.
Yeah.
Should love everything about this, and I already knew I hate Superman on film, so that's why it's lower on my list. Like I walked in 3 going, I should be entertained as a child, and walked out going, I hated that. That was terrible. When I loved every movie I saw, just like fuck that. I'd never go back and watch those. But I have gone back to rewatch that final scene with the supercomputer just to see how stupid it is.
It is.
The woman turned into a
Originally supposed to be-
cyborg.
Was really just supposed to be Brainiac.
Yeah.
Original script.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
And they tried to make it still
But they
work,
just
kind
started
of.
taking money away from it.
Yeah.
And number 4 is a disaster, but it's an ambitious disaster. It's like if
Okay.
he had the money to make the script that he wanted to, but both of those movies, they're both.
Well, it's such a weird thing. Robert Vaughn. It's so weird to have him in the movie.
It feels like a TV
Well, it's a TV
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why you
Good
use him in
points.
basketball, because he fits the vibe of being a villain in that world,
Yeah.
but not as somebody who's running this evil Fortune 5, but it looks like a Fortune 10. Like this is
Yeah.
an oil conglomerate that also has his hands in all these different fucking satellite technology.
Yeah.
They're Halliburton in essence. And I just don't buy you as the top of Halliburton.
It's always weird that he's like one of the Magnificent Seven. It's always still weird to me. Like, because you see what he ended up becoming, which essentially is a cheesy TV villain
Well,
most
yeah,
of the
but
time.
He was number 6. You know what I mean?
True. Fair.
It's not like you got the end of the pay scale. Who can we get for this money?
Yeah.
Not saying he's a bad actor. Just
No.
like it's an interesting fit.
He had a great resume in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and a little bit in the 70s, and then it went off the rails. All right, what's your number 4?
4 is we might still be a punt.
Okay.
Is Spider-Man 3.
Punt.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow. What's your number 3 then?
My number 3 is Suicide Squad.
That's a punt.
Really?
Yes, it is.
On your list, not?
Wow.
Wow.
Man, I'm so excited.
Not a contrarian at
I don't
all. You know,
understand.
you're here for the people. I get it. I get it.
As he wears that DC hat.
His
as-
number 2 is Dark Knight for some esoteric, very specific reason. I'm waiting for it. That shoe will
Number
drop.
1 on my list is Black Panther.
Oh, it'd be great. And
Oh,
you just pull
shit.
it out a tiki torch and you're like, boom, enough said. Just walk out. Did not see that coming. That's crazy. He's been Andy Kaufmaning us for years for this joke.
My number 5 then is Superman 4, which is what the slight punt from yours was.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Oh, it's not on your list. No. Oh, fuck. It's so horrific.
Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man, but also because you 1 and 2 I loved 1 and 2 as a kid, and 3 I'm like, okay, they didn't get 100% right. They'll fix it in the 4th one. Then you go see the 4th one, and they are basically trotting Christopher Reeve out like an old circus act that used to be great, and he is just a shell of himself. And then they're using the string. You can see the string that attaches to Nuclear Man when he's going through the fucking. When they don't even give a shit to CGI out the fucking strings.
Well, it's Golan and Globus.
Yeah.
And 4 words about Superman 4.
Go ahead.
Lee press on nails.
Dude, how
Great
dare you
points.
attack Mariel Hemingway?
Those nails. That,
Terrible.
Are you talking about
Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man?
Yeah.
It's like the world's most rejected RuPaul's Drag Race contestant. That whole movie should just sashay the fuck away. Guys, it's not on my list because this 3 was so bad that I had zero expectations of
Yeah,
4, and it lived
fair.
up to them. So
Okay.
just because it's not on my list doesn't mean it's not a horrible movie.
Right.
But I was like, oh, it's a tumor. Oh, so it's cancerous. Oh, I'm not surprised.
That's a great comparison,
Yeah.
I think.
It just when he scratches him.
Oh, yeah.
He has nuclear nails, and you're like, dude, this seems like a movie, a bad premise from the '60s, when the atomic bomb was still fresh, and they're making all this crap and whatnot. It's Nuclear Man. Who can beat Superman? Why, Nuclear Man? Just okay.
I might be wrong, and I'm not going to go back and rewatch it, but I do believe that a couple of people in the movie refer to him as the Nuclear Man.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure.
They're Bush relatives. It's mind-blowing to me to watch it now because it's just like they really just didn't give a shit, and they're just trying to cash in and make that money. And this is that time in the 80s when people joke about how much people love cocaine in the 80s. This is a cocaine movie. Like, nobody gave a fuck. They're just trying to put this out there so they can
Well,
make money to feed their
That
habit.
production company made like Breakin'. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had
Golden Globus.
They had
It was
like
going to expire. They were going to lose the rights.
Yeah.
yeah, they had
So they had to
30,
do it.
30 things in production
Yeah.
while they
And
were
it had-
making this.
And it had a budget of, I think the budget was like $8 or $9 million. It was
Yeah, they cut all
horrific.
kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I read an account once where they said they wanted to shoot in front of the United Nations before he goes there. They're like, not going to happen, guys. Not going to happen. Had they been able to do things like that, maybe
Yeah.
it has more emotional weight and we care more about.
Maybe.
They should have done the Ed Wood and just gotten stock footage like the Buffalo were restless. Put some of that stuff in there.
All right, then. My number 4, it was the punt from earlier, I think, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Punt still.
Wait, punt, does that mean if it...
It's
in the
higher
top
than
2.
Your top
Oh, it
two.
has to be the top 2? No, don't.
Yeah, okay.
But it's do I tell you?
Yeah,
what it is?
of course.
It's
Because we're all
number 3 on my
okay.
list.
Cool. Let's talk about it. This
That
thing.
high, really?
Do we have to talk about it?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the point of the show.
I know, but there is nothing good about there. Nothing.
I know.
Let me say my piece. Why it made my 10
Please,
because you guys
please.
have a much more, much more vitriol for it than
Yeah.
I do. My expectations of all X-Men is so low. This is the only X-Men that made it.
Right.
Because I was like, this is the one character you seem to be getting right.
Yeah.
Maybe you can spin off and do something with that. And then they did, and you're like, okay, you're still doing what I expect of X-Men.
Yeah.
Never getting there. Now say your piece and shit all over.
I actually never saw the movie in the theater. I saw
Oh.
in advance. There was a bootleg going around on VHS
Oh.
with the animatics. So I watched it with unfinished special effects. Then I went back and watched the finished special
Always the way to
effects.
see a movie.
And the finished special effects didn't
Yeah.
improve the movie.
They weren't that much better. Yeah.
One, it's the first movie that they do that just says, "Oh, we have a shared universe, but not really," because the Emma Frost is in it.
Yeah.
Cyclops is in it. There's no sort of addressing continuity.
Yeah.
The whole Northern Exposure lumberjack Wolverine thing
with Sabretooth, terrible Sabretooth.
Talk about once again Lee press on nails.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I did like the montage of them fighting through the American Revolution to World War I, World War II,
Well,
Vietnam.
unfortunately, there's another 99 minutes.
I know, that's the thing. That to start, it's like the Wolverine with that nuclear explosion, and he shields the one dude and comes off. It's like, this is awesome, and then it just kind of slowly peters.
And
at a certain
isn't
point.
Will.i.am in this movie?
Yes, Will.i.am is in this movie. All these terrible actors are in this movie. Or people shouldn't be.
Marvel does that a lot. Will.i.am.
Yeah.
Macy Gray and Spider-Man.
Yeah, but those aren't.
Yeah, that was before.
Before Feige got there.
But
yeah.
still, it was like, was the Strawberry Alarm Clock busy? Who are these musicians they're putting in these movies? They become distractions. You're like, why is that person in the movie?
It's Condor Man. Just an updated version of that. We'll throw in some of these young artists for the kids. We'll churn it out.
For the
This
kids.
dude flies.
Well, and all the story, they try to give him some kind of romance, and it really doesn't fucking work. And then they have Deadpool with his mouth sewn shut. That's what?
That's why it makes my list, because I didn't know Deadpool.
Yeah.
I stopped reading comics long before then, and then once I see now the cinematic representation of that character, it's like you took away what is arguably his best characteristic is his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. That's why it made my list. It's just like, wow, the egregious sin of that. How is no one at Marvel going, why are you neutering this character?
Yeah.
Don't even use it.
And you waste Liev Schreiber. You waste one of the greatest acting talents on the planet.
I think I skipped my number 8.
Did you?
Did I say Green Lantern?
Yeah,
that's
punted.
Punt.
Oh, okay.
We got to get
never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're not there yet, son.
Okay. I was like, there's a lot to talk about there.
There is. But yeah, this is over. It was so disappointing to me as a massive counter to you, Matt. I'm a massive Wolverine fan. Did this be the first one out? You're like, why'd you fuck this? How could you fuck this up?
And it was a 1-2 punch for Hugh Jackman,
Right.
who was such a revelation in the first movie and is such a likable screen presence. You have this and Van Helsing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you should never work again.
Well, yeah, thank God you still have Wolverine, because if it was just a standalone and then you had Van Helsing following up, that might tank your career. You might be Gerard Butler doing Geostorm.
I think this is. I have a guilty pleasure love for Van Helsing. I can't explain it. I can't.
Yeah,
explain
you
it.
can't.
You can't. The opera Frankenstein is the best. Van Helsing. All right, so the number 3 is Batman and Robin. That's my number 3.
That's a punt.
Yeah.
That's my number 4.
Oh, yeah. All right. That fucking. Oh, we can't talk about
No,
it.
we can't.
All right. All right. What's your 5?
My number
Mark?
5 is a double feature because they were
Ooh.
both directed in quotes by the same person. Daredevil and Ghost Rider, brought to you by Mark Steven Johnson.
Yeah, but you have to make a choice.
Yeah,
They're the same equally bad movie. Every ill can see.
You gotta make a choice.
Okay, well then I'll go with Daredevil.
There you go. There you go.
Because-
Good call.
It's in his top 10 show.
I'm sure Mark Steven Johnson's a nice guy,
Maybe.
but he made this and Ghost Rider, and he also took my favorite novel of all time and made it into a movie so bad that the writer of the novel said, you got to change the names of all the characters. My favorite novel of all time is by John Irving, who wrote us The World According to Garp.
Yeah.
A novel called A Prayer for Owen Meany.
Oh yeah.
Mark Steven Johnson made it into a movie called Simon Birch.
Right.
Don't watch it. You'll never get that time back.
Well.
Daredevil feels like what I thought all superhero movies would be when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It is, there's a dance scene on seesaws in the public. Ben Affleck, his hair is red.
Yeah.
The CG is awful. Another one, Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Can we stop? No more musicians in movies. Just don't. Was Kool Moe Dee busy?
Well,
So you're saying Will Smith is no good? You're saying
he's saying like as cameos.
Ice Cube? Okay, but they had to start somewhere.
Well.
You know? Are you saying DMX is bad? How dare you?
I saw the trailer for Aladdin. I would not argue. It's arguable if he's a singer.
Well, I'm not going to see that
Prince
because
off
I value
TV.
my time.
I like Gavin Rossdale in Constantine.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
defend him in
There
Constantine.
you go.
But there's
Mick Jagger
they're
could be
rare.
my favorite part of Free Jack.
Yikes.
I'm just saying. Look, I can cherry pick too. David
That's like
Bowie is
saying,
great
I
in
like-
Lock, Stock, and Two
that's like
Smoking
saying,
Barrels.
I like morphine for my third-degree burns. It's quantifying.
Great for third degree burns.
That's Sting, not David Bowie.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But
It is Sting.
Daredevil, Ben Affleck looks uncomfortable the whole
It
movie.
does, really does.
It's amazing he and Jennifer Garner got married because they have zero chemistry. There's only one person in this movie who I think gives a shit, and that's Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I want to see the movie he thinks he's making because he's committed and having fun and like not trying to make it anything it's not.
Yeah.
The movie makes no sense. The movie, he puts in so much fan service, like scenes from Joe Quesada's artwork and stuff. And it just makes me go, oh, this is nowhere near as good as a comic book.
Yeah.
It's just a lifeless and another movie that feels like it was shot in somebody's garage. It's claustrophobic. You have talented people involved, but nothing works in this movie.
I agree.
I would never rewatch this movie.
Yeah, and it's a waste of Michael Clark Duncan as a really good Kingpin.
And that
True.
was interesting casting. I was like, oh, okay.
I love
We're
that.
casting an actor who's appropriate for a part.
Right.
Exactly. He fits the design
does.
bill in your head. You're like, yeah, that's Kingpin.
I can accept it.
Yeah. All you need is a big, imposing block of a human being. That's how he became Kingpin. Look at him. He is dominated thoroughly. Perfect casting. I just didn't care going into it. I heard beforehand it is dog shit, and I went into it watching it, and I was like, it is dog shit.
Yeah, that's fair. See, Daredevil's one of my favorite characters. This side
I liked
of
him
Wolverine.
in comics.
So this side of Wolverine.
Frank Miller, I mean, it's just classic stuff.
Even the Bendis run is great.
Which is
for me.
Bendis and Brubaker are both
right.
cousins or descendants or grandchildren of the Miller run. There's great stuff going on there. It was when Carnahan did that fake trailer.
Yes.
I was like, oh, maybe that's the movie. Make Mean Streets. Make it what the TV show tried to be, but actually give it a budget.
Right.
Yeah. Allow it to.
I don't want to see Daredevil fighting Galactus, but I want to see Daredevil fighting crazy ninjas.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, but what he
hands.
did, like in season 1, that fight in the hallway, where it's the extended sequence, it's like, give me that, now scale the budget so we could have once again these larger fight sequences.
And can we please come up with an interesting visual for his sight, his radar vision?
Yeah.
It just looked like something like somebody had a video toaster from 1989. It was like, we can have him morph too. It was like, oh, it just felt so cheap and dated and lifeless and flaccid.
I agree. Thoroughly agree. That's why it was my number 10.
Yeah.
All right, so we did your 4?
4 was Batman and Robin.
Okay.
And 3 was Wolverine Origins for me.
All right.
So we're
Matt?
at mine?
Yeah, we're up
2
to
is
2.
Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Almost destroyed. Look, Batman's my favorite all time.
It is.
Yeah. I share that with numerous other individuals.
Sure.
So I'm willing to see every iteration. I will watch every Batman movie if even if it's bad and I'm walking into it. I've watched all the straight to DVD. I've watched a bunch of the TV shows. I love the character. It's pretty fantastic. And this one, you're going for the cheesy camp of the 60s show. And every person is delivering stilted line after stilted line. And it's hard to take the ridiculousness.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has the most dialogue of anyone in the film.
And arguably,
that should never be said out loud.
Arguably, on some level,
This side of the 80s.
yeah. At least I think he understands the movie he's making, where other people are trying to deliver lines and still be somewhat serious and be like, you gotta pick a fucking lane here. What are we doing?
Clooney actually talked about that he felt like, and I'm going to be paraphrasing, but he felt like Steven Soderbergh taught him how to act when he did Out of Sight. Because watching Batman and Robin, I was like, oh, I hope this guy invested well because he should never work again. Because he's not only checked out and not interested, but he's sort of smug about it. He's like, I'm better than this.
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, you're not.
Right.
You're not even trying.
He was in that place, right? Because he carried that hubris over from ER.
Yeah, but he followed. This was
Peacemaker was terrible.
Peacemaker, One Fine Day.
Oh, One Fine Day, yeah. Oof.
The Storm one.
The Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm. I like him in Perfect Storm.
So do I, but he had a run of movies that aren't doing well.
Right.
And in that one, he is. I just remember there's one, somebody asked him a question or something, he like turns and just gives an I don't give a fuck answer about what's going on right now, close-up shot of him. And you're like,
And Chris O'Donnell in this movie.
Oof.
A 40-year-old man playing a 20-year-old who's actually acting like a 6-year-old. Alicia Silverstone, they're like, oh, we're just going to abandon you. You can do whatever you want. I feel
terrible.
so bad for her because she's given nothing.
No.
She's given zero direction and awful lines. And once again, make the Batgirl costume the Batgirl costume.
Yeah.
These costumes work for a reason. Don't. And Uma Thurman.
Oh, yeah.
As Poison Ivy.
Uma Thurman playing a drag version of Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City. Every line is a double entendre. Like, oh no, it's not. No.
Well, and they also made Bane just a roided out monster.
Fool.
Yeah.
That's all he was. And you're like, okay.
The only thing I will say about the movie it's one minor thing is that the production design whether you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
It's got a look.
They made a choice.
It has a choice.
It's a bold
and
choice.
it doesn't look cheap. That movie looks
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but based on the look alone, there's a motif there. It's unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they need to go full 60s then, and Clooney needs to be dropping punchlines and not
Right.
smug responses and be like, okay, now everybody's on board. But when he thinks he's
Well,
making...
he's judging the script for us, so we're not going to like it when he's like,
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah.
like saying everything I'm doing is shit. We're going to believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good design aesthetic, but when the rest of it doesn't deliver on that, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is the only superhero movie I've ever walked out of. And we walked out of it right after the motorcycle chase. And I've yet to finish it. And I never will. To me, there's no reason ever to go back and watch it.
It was neck and neck with this and Batman Forever for me because
Oh.
Tommy Lee Jones is so bad in
Brother.
Batman Forever. But at least Val Kilmer
Yes.
is committed.
He's trying.
He's enjoying
interesting.
himself. Yes.
This when your title two characters are either checked out
Yeah.
or horribly cast and bad.
Yeah.
I don't. There's just nothing redeeming about it.
I agree. I've gone back to watch Batman Forever about maybe a couple of months ago. Fuck, I used to defend that movie. It is shit.
The boat scene at the end always killed me, even in the theater. I was like, no, bat boat. No reason to have this. Bat boat.
And you could tell the hatred that Tommy Lee and Jim Carrey have. It just
Oh, yeah.
radiates as an adult now because I think I was in my 20s when it came out, so it was like you just caught up in it. But now older, you can see the little looks they give each other of just absolute
And
hate.
also, too, why is Two-Face suddenly look like a Hot Topic T-shirt? All that dig.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
What is it? How about Billy D. Williams, man? He's earned this. I
Yeah.
wanted to see Billy D.
Yeah, Billy D.
Williams was the first
Yes.
Kingpin casting. You're taking a character that's traditionally a Caucasian guy, and you're casting someone who's interesting for the part regardless
Great point.
of race.
Yeah.
And I was like, Billy D. is owed, the same way Henry Cavill is owed, the same way Eric Bana is owed. They're owed the chance to play these characters.
Yeah.
Because Billy D. Williams, unlike Tommy Lee Jones, is likable.
Yep.
Sure.
So seeing him become this character, the struggle, because Billy D. Williams is a good actor.
Yes, he is. Go back to the 70s.
Watch Lady Sings the Blues.
Yep.
He's a damn fine actor.
Yeah.
And it just bums me up because Tommy Lee Jones is once again judging the material.
Yeah.
And just being like, I'm better than this. And then you have Drew Barrymore
Oh,
and,
and Debbie
Sugar-
Mazar.
Yeah, and Debbie
Sugar-
Mazar. That's it's so weird. They're the angel and the devil, but they're both devils. Type of thing.
weird.
It is. I think he's trying to chew more scenery than Carrie. Just gets fed up with Carrie's. That's what you hired Carrie to do.
Right.
When you signed on and you're playing opposite, and it's like fuck that. Instead of trying to be
Well,
complimentary.
the whole interpretation of Two-Face is wrong.
Yeah.
It is.
Two-Face is a good guy and a bad guy. He's Hannibal Lecter and he's Santa
Yeah.
Claus.
Right.
He's not.
Yeah, he's not two shades of Zoot Suit,
No.
which is what he
Brian
is in that
Setzer on
movie.
crack.
It is exactly.
It's such an unusual performance from Tommy Lee too, man. Like this is
Well, he's
so
another one. When he cares, when he's on, he's great.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck, and it's just marking time.
He turns into Golden Globes Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
Where he's
Oh, yeah.
pissed off at Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig.
I just don't think he likes comedians at all.
I just don't think he likes.
people.
Yeah. And I think he wants to respect the pomposity of an award show.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
like the Golden Globe.
like the Golden Globes, which is here. It's like, this leads up to his Oscar potentially and cementing legacies, an old man.
It's a doorstop.
Yeah. When you get old, you either are really happy or you're really pissed.
Yeah,
It's very,
true.
it's very often.
It's very true.
Sometimes in the same breath.
Listen, but there's only two extremes. You're pissed that you're this old and you ache all the time, but I'm still alive.
I'm on painkillers.
Yeah. All my friends are dead. I don't have anybody to fucking talk to anymore. I'm still alive.
I'm Belushi dancing on the grave. All right, what's your number one?
Oh, no, we can do
Oh, we go
two,
two. That's
yeah.
right. Sorry. So my number two then is Suicide Squad.
Okay, that's my punt from 3.
Is that
Nope.
not on your list? Right. Okay. So that's our conversation. Oh, fucking this movie.
The turd du jour.
This fucking movie. I didn't know if I was going to have a current one make the top of my list. And goddamn if it didn't. I just kept pushing it further and further up the list because the disappointment I felt going to see this, because I like David Ayer as a director. I like Fury. I liked End of Watch. I like him as a director. So I was like, this is going to be an awesome fucking
Someday you'll
Suicide
get
Squad.
to see his Suicide Squad.
Yes, fair point. And it
Still, though, I kind of hope not.
I want to see his Suicide Squad, and I want to see what's his face's Rogue One.
Okay,
I want to see his
I'm on
original
board with
Rogue
too.
One. I want to see the bitchy
But I
Felicity
do,
Jones.
yeah, but I do like the version we got as opposed to
right.
fucking,
Oh, I do. I like Rogue One. Yes.
yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, as opposed to this is just utterly trash.
Yep.
When they are at that bar as a stupid, they're all going to bond and we're supposed to bond with them moment, and the Latino guy, whatever the
Jay Hernandez.
yeah, and he's just like, "You're my family now," and you're like, literally in the theater, I was like, "You've known them for 6 hours." 6 hours in the
And
context
they
of
all
this
tried
movie.
to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody just
It
like
actually is like my family.
so they all pivot. They could walk away at this point, but they come back to do the. I don't buy that in the slightest.
I won't set you on fire.
Yeah, shoehorning Joker in to get the public there when you
yeah,
don't need the Joker, and it's this weird interpretation.
Well,
that-
I will say, as the contrarian here,
Okay.
this movie is a mess. But I
Yes.
describe this movie for me as it's like a hot fudge sundae that has been left on the counter. You can eat it. It's messy. It's sticky. It's going to give you indigestion and make your head hurt. But while you're doing it, there are worse things. For me, the things, and I will say, I'm not defending it as a good movie,
Yeah.
but seeing Oscar winner Viola Davis play Amanda
Sure.
Waller,
Perfect casting.
great.
but your character doesn't make any fucking sense.
I would. Well, once again, the comic book nerd in me. That's where some of these movies. I think you know this, John. Is we know the history. We can fill in the stuff. That's
Yeah,
not there.
that's
And
what
yeah.
they count on.
But-
That's what they count
Yes.
on.
Bullshit.
And they
Something-
shouldn't. It's bullshit.
And they should.
It's complete
right.
bullshit.
Oh, absolutely agreed.
Yeah, but when the mission is to fucking get her, when
Yeah.
they showed
Well,
up
the
and you're
mission
like,
makes no sense.
Yeah.
The mission makes no
exactly.
sense.
Okay, so you're willing to just there has to be a story construct that makes a little bit of sense. I can only suspend disbelief
Yeah.
for so long. It's just like if you can't get A to B to make sense, what the fuck?
And I would like to see the footage because Ayer has said there's a ton of more Joker.
I'm sure there
footage.
is.
I am not a fan of Jared Leto. But
Like personally, as an actor.
as an personally actor, there's just something about him.
Fair.
That just feels like if a clove cigarette and a beret was a person.
wow,
that's great.
Yeah, that's a,
I'd like that. That's fantastic.
He's an artisanal beer. But I don't mind the interpretation of the Joker as a
Yeah.
meth head.
Yeah.
And the things that I did like about that, I liked that his teeth are knocked out because Batman would have knocked all his fucking
Right,
teeth out.
right.
And I thought it was interesting. It doesn't necessarily work, but it was interesting that the Joker actually did care about Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Even though it was
Yeah.
dysfunctional. Because I was like, oh, that's an interesting color because we've never ever seen him care about anything, even in the weird dysfunctional way.
Yeah.
There was something there. I know he was a nightmare to work with on that movie from all
sure.
the stories. We're never going to see Jared Leto play the Joker again. And
no.
No
he's
matter how
done.
much he protests
but
that
I
he should.
didn't
Doesn't
mind
matter.
that. The only thing that bothered me, and this is Hot Topic, the movie, to go revisit that term, but
Yeah.
this movie is a hot topic if it was a film. Damaged the things like the
Yeah.
fonts of his tattoos were ill-conceived. And
Yeah.
when stuff like that is
Well,
bad.
I mean, it's emulating what you see in a lot of rap and hip hop. The guy, very
Yeah.
specific kind of stylized face tattoos.
But the Joker would have unique tattoos, not tattoos. He wouldn't pick them off a wall.
Right.
Not if he's a meth head.
Yeah.
If you're willing to concede one point, now you're saying abstract creativity for a meth
But
head.
Margot Robbie is fantastic.
She is.
She's easily the best thing.
Can't
in the movie.
deny
I
that.
mean, that character brought up Hot Topic was designed to sell Halloween costumes.
Right.
I mean, fucking Christ, that she is good in it.
Yeah.
She's about the only thing that I enjoy.
It's the one costume that finally replaced the Wonder Woman costume at all the cons.
Yeah.
That Harley Quinn costume, right? It was so uniquely made. I think it was uniquely made for the film. I don't recall it being in the comics. So I saw so many women who would normally have worn the Wonder Woman outfit wearing the Harley Quinn outfit. I was
Harley
very
Quinn's been the
surprised.
best-selling Halloween costume for like 8 years
Yeah.
for women.
No
Yeah.
surprise. No
Not
surprise.
surprised. Not
And
surprised in the
30%
slightest.
of West Hollywood.
That's what I'm always surprised by.
And that actually accounts for 40% of that 80% that you brought up. So, that's the impressive
So
part.
now these statistics make as much sense as the MacGuffin of the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Joe Kinnaman is wasted. By the way, Kinnaman, no offense, Kinnaman is not a movie actor. He is a TV actor.
He's
He
great
should
in
stay.
Altered Carbon.
Yeah, great. And
really,
the killing.
I couldn't get past the pilot. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
I do not care for this show at all.
It's not a TV show. It's a 6.5-hour movie.
Yeah, and I like him in The Killing a lot. But when he does move, like in Hannah, I don't even mind some of the episodes of Hannah with him because I think he does good work as a TV thing.
Have you
Sure,
ever
House of
seen
Cards.
what's the heist movie that he did in Sweden, Switzerland, where he's from?
Oh, I don't know.
Snabba-Cash, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Zac Efron was going to remake it.
Snabba-Cash?
Oh, wow.
It's a really, really good movie. And
Okay.
It's weird watching him speak in
Maybe it's
Swedish.
because he gets put in these kind of feature positions in big products.
Yeah.
Just like, dude, I don't buy you.
It was Tom Hardy. He turned it down when they cast Will Smith, allegedly, because he realized he was going to have nothing to do.
Oh, that's fair.
true.
That's fair.
That's true. Yeah, why sign on for that?
Yeah, and I thought Will was good as the character that he
He's
played.
fine.
Yeah, it's kind of what brought Will back into the prominence.
Kara or whatever her name is, the model.
she's terrible.
Just waving her
Delevingne
arms.
should never act again.
And that's for-
They did to her in that movie what they did to Andy McDowell in Greystoke. They redub all her dialogue.
Oh, really?
'Cause in Greystoke, Andy McDowell's voice, watch it.
Yeah,
it's Glenn Close.
it's Glenn Close, yeah.
In this, she's got that weird voice.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she can walk and chew gum.
She's
Whoa.
thank you.
Full.
Yeah.
Just dead. I think she might be a computer-generated thing. Her eyes are dead.
Simone, you think she's Simone from the Pacino film?
yeah.
Oh, the rejected
Exactly.
versions.
Like the clones from the Alien. Yeah.
She's deadly friend.
just her whole storyline and her brother
Oh yeah, all of that.
making a weapon. It's like, this is so convoluted and stupid.
And the katana thing. Why are you introducing? Why are you introducing this character? It makes no sense at all. Killer Croc was a waste. Everything. I think they.
Boomerang.
Yeah, boom. Oh, fucking Jai. I know he's coming back. No offense to Jai.
The thing is, we met him in that Comic-Con thing right before this came out.
Yes.
When we did the streaming app
Yeah.
somewhere in like China or something, and we did it all fucking day.
Yep.
And he
40
came on.
hours.
Couldn't have been
A nicer guy.
dude.
Yeah.
He's-
Genuinely nice.
Yep.
He's easy on the eyes.
It's a lot of
I
people
don't
like-
mind him coming back.
But the problem is, I was like, I really hope it succeeds, man. But I've also seen you in that crap Terminator, and it's like
that crap Die Hard. And
that crap
Yeah.
Die Hard, which
Yeah.
is easily the worst Die Hard. And it's like, I've already seen you be part of the worst of the two franchises.
Yeah.
He's sort of
assuming.
he's sort of like the Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton to Sam Worthington.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Sam Worthington's still in that same world. Outside of Avatar, what else does he have?
Oh, exactly. They're
Yeah.
both. They're both.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
They're the rare Australian actors that don't do good shit all the time. Who else was with him in that movie?
Of the other actors on the squad itself?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who. Oh, and the one good thing is they killed Adam Beach off early.
If that happened in the first 10 minutes of every movie, I'd be happy. How does he continue to get work?
It's mind blowing to me. Smoke Signals was great for the '90s, and he's fine in that.
The same way
I
Ed
worked with-
Burns was great in
that Brothers McMullen. Yeah.
They're great for a movie that was shot for $5
Yeah.
in the back of a car.
Exactly.
When you give
Yeah.
them actual production value, Adam Beach, and once again, I'm sure he's probably a lovely person. I hope he has a happy family.
Yeah.
And good for him for getting the work. He might be the worst, most
Yeah.
bland actor ever.
He trades in on the Native American thing. They're going to cast him,
Yeah.
and when they put him in something, I always go, "This is just a token casting," because the guy has a name in the Native American community, but he's a shit actor. And I worked on Wind Talkers for 6 months and watched him up close act like dog shit. The guy they got to play his fellow Navajo in the movie, they picked him off out of the extras. He was better than Adam Beach, and it's frustrating when I see him in a movie in The Flags of Our Fathers. He was crap
And
in that
there
fucking
were
movie.
actually a number of other Native American actors.
Yes,
who don't get
plenty.
There's an actor who I met years ago when he was his name is Michael Gray Eyes. He works all the time. I met
What's
him
he
in
been in?
Cleveland. He's been in he's in something.
Was he in Hot Pursuit or Cold Pursuit? The Liam Neeson.
Oh, he was
one?
in Fargo then, season 2.
Yeah.
Say
he's
that
great.
dude.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I
that
met
guy.
him because
Yeah.
he was
He's
living
great.
in Cleveland at the time because his wife was in the Cleveland Ballet
Yeah.
and he was there and he worked all the time.
Yep.
No, he's
Because
good.
He's an amazing actor. I'm like, can we get rid of Michael Beach? And
Yeah.
this is a guy who's actually got the goods.
Yeah, but
Adam
Beach
Beach.
has like the profile. He has the look
Well,
you
he
can put on.
had the profile.
True.
That's the thing. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Enough. When he was killed in the first 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a perfect thing to do with Cash. And I bet Adam took it. He's like, fuck it. It might make money. I'm not getting cast anything big, so I'll take it for 10 minutes of screen time. So, all right, that was my number 2. What was your number 2?
Spider-Man 3.
At number
There it
2?
is. There it
Yeah.
is.
It was disappointing. So disappointing.
Oh, so many levels.
If you go back and listen to my top 10, the top 10 I did with these guys about my favorite Marvel movies,
Oh, yeah.
you can hear my other thoughts about this. But Spider-Man 3, I was never a fan of the Raimi interpretation.
Okay.
I just think Tobey Maguire is miscast. Tobey Maguire is a
Interesting.
reactor. He does not engender joy. He does not engender fun. He does
Yeah.
not engender anything. He's just sort of now he can be great in things like The Ice Storm. He's
Cider
amazing.
House Rules.
Cider House Rules because
Right.
he's the base that everything reacts around. I never found him to be. When Spider-Man puts on his costume, when Peter puts on that costume, there's a freedom there. He gets to be himself.
Yeah.
And he was just joyless.
Yeah.
He's physically wrong. I always joke that he should play Katie Lang in a biopic. Kirsten Dunst.
Worst MJ.
Yeah.
How about this? Let's not, we cast a blonde as a redhead, and then in this franchise, in all permutations, we cast redheads as blondes.
Right.
Apparently, you can make me believe a man can climb a building with his spider fingers, but you can't get a good fucking red wig.
Apparently not.
Great
Once
points.
again, RuPaul is on your roll collar. Drive down Santa Monica Boulevard at 2:00 on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You'll find people that can do believable wigs. The breakdancing scene.
Oh, it's terrible.
You ever see him up close though?
Awful.
When you're driving past, you're like, that seems believable, and then you stop at that,
But we're talking about
Rite Aid right there.
Yeah, but we're not going to be doing extreme close-ups.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know if I'm going to them for all my beauty tips. Maybe if the camera is zooming past at 25 miles an hour, boom, beauty tips galore.
Bryce
And the other-
Dallas, right? Isn't that who plays? Yeah, she plays Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. Who, if you're a woman in a Spider-Man movie, don't ever go above the first floor because you're going to go flinging out of a window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Aunt May. Yeah.
It's like being a red shirt in Star Trek. And also, there's always suspension of disbelief in genre movies. Genre movies are so much harder to make than, quote, normal movies. 'Cause,
Right.
In My Best Friend's Wedding, Julia Roberts, we're told she's an award-winning food critic. Sure.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, if you
I
say
believe
so.
that. But in this movie, we have, and this is why the rest of it fails. When you start picking apart details like this, you have Mary Jane Watson, and above the title, marquee actress on Broadway.
Yeah.
So she gets fired, and she's going to be a waitress.
Yeah.
Did she not have a manager, a lawyer, and an agent? She would have gotten another show or an album or a
Sure.
tour.
Sure.
She would not have been poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a jazz club where kids go in New York. What year are we in? I believe it elevated. I believe the L is in Chicago, is in New York City before I believe that.
Yeah. Good point.
That Russian girl that Tobey Maguire's just awful to.
Yeah.
The whole Topher Grace is trying. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's crammed in so late you don't care.
Yeah.
The Sandman feels like a villain from the Batman TV show.
Why are you casting Thomas Hayden Church in that?
Is playing it like he's Clara Bow and cocaine in a silent movie.
Whoa.
I'm like, relax.
Yeah.
Teresa Russell for one
Oh,
no
yeah.
apparent reason.
Yeah.
It is just an awful, infuriatingly awful.
Yeah, I forgot about Teresa Russell. Shit.
Yeah, well, you have the problem of we've got way too many fucking villains.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we
This-
didn't even talk about James Franco.
I know.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
his
Franco.
final pivot to becoming, and it's this arc from the first one, and you're like, there's so much shit. You're just packing in crap on top of crap on top of crap.
I know the import of this franchise, and I know people love the first one, but for me, the whole franchise. I mean, the second one is the best, but it feels like he made the same movie 3 times with diminishing results on each one.
I think the second is the high watermark of that overall series, but I much prefer Tom Holland and Into the Spider-Verse. I think they already have a better handle on.
Oh, you mean Tom Holland in the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, I'm saying that and the Spider-Verse.
Oh, and Into the Spider-Verse.
Both,
Right.
both are iterations which I am enjoying and continue on with. I'm looking forward to the one coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, you look at this one, and by the way, you mentioned Franco. If this was his resume, these 3 movies,
I know.
he'd have never worked again.
Exactly.
He's terrible in these 3 movies. I don't care. Nobody could tell me he's good in these movies. He's terrible in these movies. So when his the worst parts of Franco come out in this movie, so it's always been surprising to me that he turned it into an Oscar-nominated career. Like, it was surprising to me what he's been
Without a
able to
doubt.
do. But like, everything about this thing from the beginning, especially coming out of 2, you're just like, okay, this is going to do it. And you're just like, what the fuck was Raimi? What was going on in Raimi's mind? I would love to know what he was doing when he was creating this thing. Because I know people.
I mean, the talk was Venom was forced on him, and he didn't want Venom in there.
Yeah.
But still, he has a problem with you have Sandman and you have this what should be focusing on the arc of Franco's character.
Yeah.
Not Tim. But that should be the crux of this entire fucking movie, and yet it feels like an afterthought.
Yeah.
I mean, the dancing scene is what everybody points to. Is like that alone.
Right.
But that's just indicative of they have no real sense of what this movie is supposed to be.
And it's very similar to when Superman starts drinking and all the evil. You're just like, this is not you don't do this with a hero. Don't do this with it. Nobody wants to see it.
Not in this way.
Nobody wants to see it.
Nobody wants to see him.
And also, too, with that costume in the comic books,
Yeah.
when the symbiote costume was doing
right.
stuff, it was when Peter was asleep. So
Exactly.
he would wake up and he wouldn't be rested.
Right.
By making him a dick, Tobey Maguire hasn't mastered playing Peter Parker as a likable energy source. Right. So to make him play evil on top of that, let him finish this meal before he starts making something else. Do one thing correct before you start doing something else, because everything in that movie, and you can tell he's checked out in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's only slightly less uninterested in this movie than George Clooney was in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
because there was a
I
point,
think he was more engaged than Clooney and Batman.
because he was getting probably $25 million.
Exactly, and he knew that this was my introduction to the world.
But I think I don't know him, but just from all the stuff that was remember he held out on Spider-Man too. So
Yeah.
he said he injured his back, and they offered it to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And the moment he heard that, he's like, "I'm better," which is why they put the joke in there.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I just don't get him being like the Constance Wu of Spider-Man.
He's an interesting situation because, you hear all the rumors about that he's a massive dick and loves like that whole thing that Molly's Game is based on.
He's a professional gambler now.
he's the gambler.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
I
He's the
didn't know
guy
that.
that,
I assumed,
ironically, isn't it Topher who's playing him in the movie?
I think so, yeah.
In Molly's Game, who is it that plays?
It's not Topher.
Who is it that plays it in Molly's Game?
Shit, I'll look.
Oh, yeah, look it up. Okay, but it's when I heard that it was Toby, I was shocked. Shocked.
When was the last time he acted?
Right? Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, I just didn't think he was the kind of guy that people would. Isn't that who he is, or is it Elijah Wood? Is it Elijah Wood that Molly's Game is based on? Or
No,
is
it's Tobey.
It's Toby, right?
Maguire's a professional gambler.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire, Ben Affleck. There's a whole group of them.
It's kind of mind blowing.
I think our buddy Sam Levine even played in Molly's.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera plays him. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point.
Doesn't seem right. It's not Topher. Because he was in
Slow down.
Ocean's 11. It's basically doing that. The
Oh,
young
right.
Hollywood.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Playing poker.
I can't wait to hear your number one. I know my number one is the worst.
All right, what do we
My
have?
number one is Catwoman.
Oh, really?
I watched it
Okay.
for this show. And I finished it, which is an achievement in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it got to the catnip part. If you remember that,
Yes.
she goes to the woman and she puts it in front of her face and she starts going bananas like a cat. And I was like, in my head, I can't believe, because this wasn't like
Academy Award winner Halle Berry follows up.
That aside, this isn't, late 80s when Keaton is signing on to do a Batman film and we've only seen Superman and it's kind of an unknown world. This comes out after we've had a decade and a half of solid Superman or superhero movies. Yeah. And to put this out, it's like one bad choice. So she dies and this cat just fucking stands on her and spews this green gas out for no motivation. Why? Why her?
It's all terrible.
The cat is just drawn to her for some reason, and then goes over to this weird woman's house, and she has all these answers about Egyptian cats. And the opening montage looks like a high school production won a contest of give me all the cats through history and pick some YouTube clips and grab this, that, and the other, and just fucking put it on there. It is shit editing, where they're superimposing pictures on top of moving images.
And how does she's the only black person in the entire movie?
Oh.
Yeah.
How does anyone not know she's Catwoman?
Yeah,
Right.
It
Good
seems
point.
like
Good point.
It seems like the entire production crew from The Crow didn't update their design aesthetic and was like, let's make a movie again.
From the Crow City of Angels.
Whatever. But it's got like a 90s grunge feel to it, where I would not be surprised if they had flannels tied around their waist.
I always joke there should be a deleted scene because she drinks cream and eats goldfish and licks herself. She should have 8 nipples and her bathtub should be full of sand, and Benjamin Bratt should walk in and she's like taking a dump in the bathtub because that's the only cat stuff she doesn't throw
I know.
a hairball. It's so bad.
She chokes on one at one point or something like that.
Yeah.
It's dumbfounding. It's dumbfounding. We had to do worst video game movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And I watched Blood Rain for that. Oh, Blood Rain is terrible.
Horrific.
This was so much worse to me.
And Blood Rain's Yui Bowl too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have certain expectations.
Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, Sir Ben Kingsley, Michael Madsen with one of the best phone-in performances you're
Yep.
ever going to see. You're ever going to see.
You just needed to say Michael Madsen.
No, even for him, he can tell this fucking sucks, and he is phoning it in so hard.
Yeah.
But Catwoman, I finished it, and I was like, sometimes I hate this show.
And another person who's not a movie star, Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And he has the most charisma on screen of any character that they introduced.
That's why I liked him in
Sharon Stone's okay.
the limited role he had in Doctor Strange. I'm like, that's exactly how you use Benjamin Bratt in a movie.
Yeah.
Very
The
limited.
bummer,
former
you have
paraplegic.
Sharon Stone, so at least I was hoping that we're going to get the Faye Dunaway Supergirl effect. You're just going to get all me and my gay brothers and sisters are all going to laugh because Sharon Stone is camping it up, and they neuter her in the movie.
Yeah.
Should have been the most interesting dynamic from the villain aspect.
Absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
the whole thing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. All right, my number one is Green Lantern. That's undeniable to me because I love Green Lantern's character. Hal Jordan is one of my favorite characters in the DC universe because he can be a massive dick, but he's also right a majority of the time. In fact, my favorite run is when he became Spectre. That was like mind-blowing to see what he could do as Spectre. So I had a lot of preconceived ideas of what I wanted this film to be. When they cast Ryan, I was like, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. This isn't really my kind of, because Green Lantern's not equipping. Hal Jordan's not a quipping guy.
And
so
Ryan Reynolds, I love.
Yes, I love Ryan too.
I think in the right things, he's perfect. But
Yes.
in this, he's too pretty.
Yes.
He's too smug.
Yep.
He's not the right kind of cocky.
He's not the right Hal Jordan.
He's James Spader, pretty and pink cocky. He's not Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Son cocky.
Fillion,
Great
from
points.
what I read of the comic, Fillion seems like a good.
But even feeling,
He's not a movie star either.
Well, I'm saying movie star. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
but you want to get closer to that. More everyman-ish to get like a Matt Damon.
Yeah,
but
but
you're never going to get Matt Damon.
Damon is the correct choice.
Yeah.
I push back on Fillion because people like, but Fillion's a likable guy.
So's my dad. He
Jordan,
shouldn't be Green Lantern
exactly.
either.
Jordan is not a likable guy.
Fillion's got a better claim than your dad. And I've never met your dad. I'm just saying.
My dad's far more likable.
Oh,
I like that.
does he want to make his own like Red Coats show? You know, we just film that. Buku bucks.
But it's just like over and over again throughout the whole movie. I'm just like, I don't understand what the fuck is happening. And Taika Waititi is in this thing as his friend.
It's a really
Oh,
disappointing.
so dumb.
It was number 8 on my list, and I say it's more disappointing because you have. It was one of those things that's movie by committee. You have Mark
Yeah.
Guggenheim and Michael Green,
Yeah.
who are both incredible writers.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Green wrote Logan,
Yeah.
and Blade Runner 2049, and was on American Gods. And Mark Guggenheim was responsible for most of the Berlanti verse
Right.
was started from him, and he's a great comic book writer and a novelist. And then the studio starts getting scared, and Martin Campbell's the wrong director.
Yes,
for
he
it
was.
because he's great for James Bond movies when it's all very
Yep.
quote unquote real.
Yeah.
The visual sense of the movie doesn't look good.
He's hit or miss.
Yeah.
The CG is not good, and it's too much too soon.
Yes.
Do King Arthur, do Top Gun. The guy crashes, he gets the ring. Open the movie with Sinestro destroying the Green Lantern Corps, and they
Yep.
hide in the battery. So he comes out and proves it, and then it ends with him. You have earned it, and you're back.
Great
it was
point.
too much for people.
Yeah.
The Guardians themselves. The CG it just removes you from it.
Yeah.
The cloud.
Yes.
Because that worked so well in Fantastic Four 2.
Right. All of it was ridiculous.
This was still better, but that's not saying.
And that was Cloud is Clancy Brown, the voice of Clancy
Okay.
Brown, and you have Peter
Yeah.
Sarsgaard. There's great talent here. Jeffrey Rush,
Tim
Mark
Robbins.
Strong,
You have
Tim
a
Robbins.
Great cast.
All being wasted.
And it just feels like the studio was chasing Marvel and didn't trust anybody. And,
Yeah.
and it was like, it's like wood floors. They just kept refinishing them, and then you find out there's plywood underneath. They got rid of all the oak planks. Now it's just shitty broken plywood, and it's just and on paper, most everybody in that movie has made a number of really great pieces of work.
Sure.
Sure.
Reliable.
Sure.
And it's just one of those things where no one tries to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
But it is just an utter I went in there hoping for the best.
Well, and you say that, like, I'm surprised Garner and Affleck got together. I was surprised Lively and Reynolds got together. They have no chemistry in this movie. And look, I'm one of these people that pushes back on Blake Lively as an actress sometimes.
Sure.
But I also give credit where credit's due. I liked her in The Shallows. I think she's good in The Shallows.
She should have gotten a Best Supporting Actress nomination for A Simple Favor.
Oh, okay.
I am not a Blake
I haven't
Lively
seen
fan
that
either. I find
Okay.
her very cold.
Yes.
A Simple Favor is one of the best movies of the past 5 years.
Paul Feig with Anna Kendrick, right?
Yes, and don't let that put you away.
No, Paul Feig's a good director.
Paul Feig's a good TV director, but this movie, he moves the camera.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick is great. Blake
Okay.
Lively, I was watching the movie and I was getting
Yeah.
mad. I said to my friend, she's really fucking good in this. She should get an Oscar
Well,
nomination.
I'm sure you're going to the next one and be like, that last one was a fluke. So,
And you know what? I don't know. It just feels like, oh, maybe she's finally found herself. But yeah,
Maybe.
they had zero chemistry.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, and they all were giving into their worser parts as actors, and you're just like, oh
You
man.
can tell the director was kind of abandoned them.
Right.
It was actors going to their what we
Yeah,
everybody
what's
at
always
Troll
worked for them.
Studio
Yeah.
always works.
but at this point, I had no, like, I sold all my DC stock that didn't have Chris Nolan's name attached to it long ago. It's like, you guys, Tim Burton early on, but then since then, it's just like, no, it's a fucking terrible almost every time. So going into Green Lantern, I was like, so long as you're not god awful, okay,
We'll make it work.
That's my expectation of most DC work.
Yeah, fair.
It sucks because that's from the home of Batman.
Green Lantern just made me unbelievably sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these movies make me angry because of their ineptitude. This movie was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. All right.
Well, what
It
do you
was in
got?
Focus. We can say that about Green Lantern.
That's true. It was in focus.
My movie, and you might not have seen this movie. This movie
Ooh, interesting.
is based on one of the most important comic strips in the history of comics by a creator named Will Eisner.
Oh. Oh.
Who
A
This
Family
son of a-
Affair, the movie.
No, this son of a
basically,
bitch.
Will Eisner
He
is
cleared
known,
the table with this son of a bitch. Of course he's going to bring it up.
Will Eisner is known as the Citizen Kane of comics. He
is.
with the logos, using like papers and stuff, and using cityscapes and just
Yeah.
the cinematic way he told stories. Just incredible stuff. There's some period stuff with some characters of color that is of its era that is not great, but artistically, his book. Teaching called Comics and Sequential Art has been in print for 40 years
Yeah.
and is a good resource for filmmakers as well. This movie is a movie directed by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
This movie is a movie called The Spirit.
Yep.
And this movie took me, no lie, 16 days to watch
Holy shit.
because I could only watch between 6 and 9 minutes at a time.
Wow.
This is a movie where Samuel L. Jackson does the worst version of Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
He actually, at one point, because Frank Miller thinks this is clever, throws a kitchen sink.
It's clever.
This movie is
Do you throw the baby out with the bathwater?
this movie. I don't
Yeah.
even know what to say about this movie. This movie, and what's so angering about this movie is Gabriel Macht is perfect casting for Denny Colt, and Gabriel Macht is a really good actor. You watch him in Suits.
Yeah.
He was great in this John Travolta movie no one saw called A Love Song for Bobby Long. where
Okay.
he's an alcoholic writer. He's
Yeah.
really
That
good.
one.
He's an amazingly talented actor. This movie is so inconceivably bad. Frank Miller got the job. I mean, I don't know how Frank Miller got a job directing a movie.
Yeah.
Because they made
well,
Sin City.
Sin City plus
but
Dark
Frank
Knight.
Miller-
But that was
but
Robert Rodriguez.
But Frank Miller on his own writing wrote RoboCop 2 and
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Exactly.
Still, though, but he had hot properties roughly
Sure,
around
sure.
then, and he had enough
Him
clout to
getting
try.
this job is everything wrong with Hollywood chasing a trend because they make it try and look like Sin City, which
Yeah.
is completely wrong
Yeah.
for it. It is. I don't even know what the movie's about.
Yeah.
It's awful. You have Scarlett Johansson, you have Ava Mendes, you have Ava Green, you have
Yeah.
all these people, and it's just this weird, misogynist, lifeless, loud. I would rather watch any of the other movies that we've talked about
Yeah.
every day for the rest of my life than watch this movie again.
Yeah.
This movie, I'm literally surprised that Will Eisner didn't come up from the grave and kill Frank Miller. This movie, for a man who claims to love Will Eisner, this movie is don't love me like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's awful.
Yeah, the claim is still true. It's just he's not a director, so
Yeah.
the execution is where he's flawed.
It's a big place to be flawed when you're Frank
True,
Miller.
when you're trying to do it.
Yeah. When
But
You're
the
Frank
hubris
Miller,
of Hollywood.
who is arguably a genius, and
Yes.
has done some of the most important work in American art and comics.
I'd say
in the 20th
storytelling.
century. This movie
Yeah.
is you would watch the. It doesn't feel like anybody made this movie.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just feels like I don't even know what it feels like. It's
Yeah.
a
You
fever
wouldn't
dream.
wish this on your worst enemy, is what you're saying.
No.
No wonder you knew this one when all of us didn't. for
Yeah, I
Throwdown.
didn't.
Free for all 3 years ago.
No, be glad.
Yeah, I
wish I could. I
never
wish I
saw
could
it.
erase this from my memory.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
It got such terrible reviews. I never bothered
Yeah.
to see it. So yeah, understood. All right, well, there's our personal top 10 worst superhero movies ever made lists. Now we're going to combine these. This should
You
be
wanna write,
interesting.
or shall I?
I would rather if you wrote, if that's all right, and I'll do the banging. I got no problem doing the banging.
Slide that over.
Too tired to be writing. That's how lazy I am right now.
You strain your forearm.
Yeah, in my brain.
Grade 1 tear.
All right. Oof, this is going to be an interesting list to compile.
Okay, so do we all three have Batman and Robin, or just the two of us?
I have it.
Oh, that's right. You don't have
Yeah,
it?
I have it number 3.
So it's 3-2. I think that's our
Mine is
highest.
4.
Yeah.
That's our highest
Common.
common. Okay.
And Spider-Man 3, maybe?
Yeah.
What about, you don't have Suicide Squad, right?
No.
We all have Spider-Man 3.
I have that my number 6.
That's number 2 for me.
Yeah. All right.
Wolverine Origins.
Do we have X-Men Origins Wolverine?
We do. So that would be
Okay.
probably next because you guys both have it
Mine's
really high.
Yeah, mine's number 3.
Yeah, mine's 4. Oh, all right.
right.
At least we got 3 of them now. All right.
That's the only-
Other than Green Lantern, I
Yeah.
have nothing else shared with you guys.
Oh,
Okay, so we have a bunch
shit.
of stuff then in common. Suicide Squad, we both have high.
Yeah, we do.
So that would probably go next.
Okay.
Green Lantern probably after that because you have it as number 1.
Yeah.
And I have it as number 8, so that makes it number 4.
That's true. What do you have? You don't have Green Lantern.
I don't have it.
Okay. But it's my number
1-8
one,
is going to
yeah.
be better than anything else anybody has.
Yeah, true. Good point. Okay. What do you have next, or who has next? What's the next highest?
I have my number 1 next,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know where.
Which is what?
Catwoman.
Yeah, not even on my list, but it should go now as it's the highest one.
Well, we might have still. So we have Superman in common. Which
Superman 4.
Superman 4 at number
It's
my
my
6.
It's my number 5. Yeah.
All right, Superman 4. Now we're just into singles, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got next highest?
What's your next highest?
The Spirit,
At
oh
what?
yeah, yeah,
number 1.
Oh yeah, the Spirit goes next.
yeah, absolutely. And then
All
what's
right,
your
your next highest?
Daredevil,
At
5.
Ooh, okay, that was my number 10.
oh, okay, Daredevil makes it.
Yeah.
Well, you just went and declared you don't have any other commonality, and then son of a bitch, you have other commonality.
Daredevil was on your list.
Yeah. We punted it when you called it, but you were looking at 2 films for that
Yeah.
slot. So
The oeuvre of Mark Stevens.
Highest left. What do we got?
Fantastic Four by Josh Trank is my number 6.
Okay.
I got my number 4.
Oh, which is what?
I'm sorry, I got my number 5. Superman 3.
Okay. Yeah, mine is I think Spider-Man 3. If we have Superman 4, X-Men Origins with Batman Robin,
We already have Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 is my number. Yeah, so I don't count on this. You guys duke out whatever's less.
Well, mine is 1 higher.
Okay.
Is it not? 5 over 6.
All right.
2 Supermen make this move. this
Wow.
list.
All right, let's do this thing.
That is the top 10 right there.
Huh?
We weren't taping this part.
Yeah, that's the part of the show.
Doing the list, making the list.
Oh yeah, they love.
No, they love listening to that. Wow.
Yeah, when we did
That's-
the show on video, people were pissed that we cut this part out of the show.
Oh, I
Did-
thought you just showed the list. Oh,
Did
wow.
we cut that part
Well,
out?
fair. We agreed to it being cut out because it did get cut out.
We were forced into a situation where there was no choice given.
Sure. Okay.
It's the way I remember it.
That's right. Well,
Although I've taken mescaline at least 30 times since then, so my sense of short-term memory being accurate is pretty
right.
slim.
And
Okay,
sugars
so
and
give us the
sparkles.
list. 10,
All right.
10 on up.
All right, let's do this thing. The top 10 worst superhero films. Yeah.
Pow, zap, bang.
Like that. At number 10.
Superman 3,
At number 9.
Daredevil,
At number 8.
The Spirit,
At number 7.
Superman 4,
At number 6.
Catwoman,
At number 5.
Green Lantern,
At number 4.
Suicide Squad,
At number 3.
Wolverine,
At number 2.
Spider-Man 3.
And our number 1 worst superhero film is
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's a lot of crap fest movies for y'all to watch.
Save 20 hours of your life. Don't watch any of these.
At least 20 hours, if not more. If you combine all our lists, certainly 50 hours you could save from your life watching these movies. Thank you so much, Marc Andreyko.
Thank you. This was always a joy. Thank you, guys. I love doing this.
You're one of the best, man.
You made no eye contact when you said that statement, so I don't believe a word of that.
Well,
not good.
You look straight
That's
down.
because I have an erection.
Really? And just looking at the list, and you're like, that's a strong list of shit.
What do you got going on right now? What are you promoting?
I'm writing the Supergirl monthly comic for
Yes.
DC. That's also going to be tying into Leviathan, the big event that Bendis is doing.
Sweet.
Which is great. I've got a couple other comic book projects that I'm not allowed to talk about. There's
Oh,
one
okay.
that I've wanted to do since 1993 that'll be announced later this year.
Okay.
That's super exciting.
Is it the one we talked about before?
Yes, that one.
I'm very happy for you, man.
And and some TV stuff, potentially some film stuff. Everything that every other douchebag in LA is doing.
What happened to the one you were doing solo, like creating from scratch? That comment you were bringing in every couple of months, did that stop?
Oh, yeah, we finished that one.
Okay.
And I wasn't just me. That was me and Eddie Gorodetsky, who
Okay.
created the show Mom. It was called The Further Adventures of Nick Wilson.
Yes,
That's
Nick
available.
Wilson.
Love is still in print and available. And the
Hell
money
yeah.
still goes to charity. We're getting close to raising $400,000 globally for
Wow.
different LGBT charities.
That's so great.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Marc Andreyko, and then on Facebook and all my lefty politics and all that good stuff. So it's all lefty politics and dog stories.
And will the tag team match have gone up by now or no?
When is this going up?
This goes up tomorrow, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
The tag team match goes up the 31st.
So that's this week.
That's
Friday.
Yeah.
All right. No
So-
spoilers, but
So are we allowed
But
to talk about it?
spoilers.
I think so. If it goes up the 31st,
Yeah, it goes up Friday.
but then congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Oh, being a new
we beat the
tag team.
Shire Wolves. Yeah,
Nobody thought it was possible.
How
Everybody
big
thought,
was the W?
it was back and forth. I think
Yeah.
we won by 2 points.
It's a solid one.
fucking
No,
Snyder?
it was a good match. It was a good match
Yeah.
because there were questions. The questions were tough. There were some really, really tough questions. And what was fascinating was their final round question. I knew the answer to their 5-pointer.
What was it?
It was who were the two voices of the male leads in the DreamWorks cartoon Road to El Dorado?
Yeah, do you know that animation?
Oh shit. Kenneth Branagh?
Nice.
Is Kevin Kline the other?
Yep.
Boom! Nost.
Yep.
Always
Yeah.
with the animation, man.
Kenneth Branagh was like that. I think it's him.
Yeah.
Kevin Kline, I can remember because he's getting that blowjob in the one scene. I can't believe they left it in there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
There you go.
So Branagh's character, I think, comes into the room, and him and the girl have been like lying down on the ground in front of a couch. And when they go to sit up, she comes from what would be his waist area.
Oh.
It's the only place. Otherwise, her torso extends when she lays down.
Right.
And you're like, they just put a blowjob joke in the middle of this? DreamWorks, taking some chances Disney wouldn't
Guess
do.
I know what I'm rewatching tonight.
Pretty sure. I mean, they don't show it. Just this one thing I'm watching, I was like, I'm pretty sure that character was blown.
Well, that's like there's a dick joke in both that was in the poster and in the actual movie of Little Mermaid. In the
Right.
poster,
Oh, yeah.
The guy put the castle, but there's a scene in the Little Mermaid when
They say
Ursula-
it's supposedly the wind or something. They blowing his robe. He's talking about the priest.
Oh no! I'm talking about I'm talking about. There's a scene where Poseidon, is it Poseidon?
Yeah.
Triton is
Triton.
holding his trident,
Right.
and the one tine of it looks like a penis in silhouette, and Ursula goes and
Whoa!
Really?
on it. It might be me
accept
being
that.
Freudian, but
I'm down with that.
or up.
Just depending how much you enjoy that scene.
Perfect way to end this show. All right, well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of the Top 10 Show. Matt, what should we tell them before we sign off here?
Nothing. Once again, send us those ideas for T-shirts and whatnot, stuff
Yep.
we can use with our graphic designer and hopefully churn out some new content for you guys. And that's it. Go to facebook.com/groups/the Top 10 Show with the number 10. Follow me online at Matt Knost, and I can't think of anything else.
If you want to be a Patreon supporter of the show, you go to www.patreon.com/the-top10. See all the multiple tiers we got there. You can take part in more and more of the content that we're churning out for our patrons. So it's worth it for you to become a patron now because we have even more to deliver to you.
There's numerous shows every month on top of what we were offering before.
Exactly.
Skip one Starbucks a month and support.
There you go. Yeah,
Really
something.
some really interesting content you can't find anywhere else.
Exactly. Thank
And
you
get
so
that,
much, Mark.
You're listening now. The live show was just posted last week.
Yes.
So if you join now, you get to listen to that second Chicago show.
Get me stumble through my tater tots and fried onion rings as I try to drunkily talk about Star Wars with Matt Knost and have the fans turn on me.
Rightly so.
Well,
Rightly so.
I had some supporters.
In that room, you had none.
I did. 5 of them came up to me and said they didn't want to take on the
5.
onslaught.
Out of 125-30,
Well.
you had 5. So then you had 125 people going, you're out of your mind.
That's not the last time or the first time. That's for sure.
It's a ridiculous argument. And that's
Not a ridiculous
It's a
argument.
Malort argument. You break the entire contract of it at the very end. She's like, well, if you agree that this is
Only
the
in your
principle,
mind do I
listen.
break the contract.
Okay.
Anyway, we're not going to rehash it now. Go listen to that if you
Please
haven't
do.
listened to it. Yeah, enjoy that. All right, thanks, everybody. You can follow me at The Rocha Says. That's it. Follow us at the Top 10 Show or Top 10 Show.
Top 10 Show.
On Twitter, that's now more active. Kristen Smith running that. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chris Alexakos, Matthew Hasso.
Matthew Hasso, Chris Ibarra, and Clay Matthews.
All of them.
All of them.
Clay
And people-
Matthews, the football player?
Yep.
Yep.
The whole Matthews family does little side jobs for us.
And
It's
for
pretty
everyone out
fantastic.
there who knows who I am, is like, how does he know that? It was a Cleveland Brown. That's the only reason I know that the original Clay Matthews.
Fair
So,
enough.
Not one and the same, but very similar.
Yeah,
They are very
yeah.
similar. But yeah, our thanks to all of them and the people that reach out with ideas. I think Michael DeBone gave us the idea that sparked potentially making shirts and whatnot, and
Yeah.
reaching out to graphic designers about something. John and I said, are we doing this dance again?
Absolutely.
Maybe turn that into a shirt. We don't know, but send us your ideas anywhere that you follow us, or top10podcast@gmail, all spelled out.
There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time for another episode of the Top 10 Show.